Cheers.
Cheers.
To episode 184.
Cheers.
Cheers to the ALDS.
Or DS.
Cerveza.
Again.
Del Rey.
DS.
Yeah.
Super lame, dude. Super
DS.
lame.
Nintendo DS it up. Oh, that's so good.
Evan?
Did you say you're drinking whiskey yet,
I
Evan?
am. Traverse City Whiskey Company.
Like a flavored
Cody
version
McRae's
of theirs, or just their standard?
Man,
Just their standard.
What?
people that get flavored whiskey are what people refer to as kitties.
A cherry flavored
That's a compliment.
whiskey
Alex.
is delicious.
Yeah, it says a lot about you.
If you were offered a nice
I don't like
glass-
cherry flavored anything. So
what?
Yeah, cherry's
There's
kind
a
of overrated.
there's a store I went to last weekend that you're gonna absolutely hate.
a cherry flavored whiskey sounds like cough syrup.
I mean, they put cherries in
Oh.
like a lot of popular whiskey drinks. Like,
It's tasty
Yeah.
cough syrup.
Losers.
whatever, dude. I don't think you know booze. You're just showing your ass right now.
You just don't know booze. I like flavored whiskey.
All right. I don't have time for these games. We have a very, very busy show here. Looking at the show doc, I mean,
Let's get into it.
these shows are why you lift all the weights in the summer months when we have nothing to talk about and we make up snake drafts. These are the shows. It's Wednesday, October 2nd. Oh, let us be the first to wish you a happy Spooktober.
Happy cuffing season.
Cuffing season. I remember when that term was hot in the streets. Alex, you don't like Spooktober?
It's
No.
spook season. Spooky
I sure
season.
didn't.
Come on. It's October.
Ooh.
It was a crisp 45 degrees this morning in Michigan when you woke up.
Yeah, it
It was
is.
fantastic.
It's nice. My window's wide open right now. Go Tigers! It's 7:08 p.m., 6:08 Central. It's Wednesday, like I said. This is a gritty show too. It's a packed show, but we're doing it on Wednesday. We're doing it earlier in the night because Alex sent the bat signal that he can go whenever today. His schedule is free and clear. He could do this
It's
show.
not free and clear. I just need to go earlier.
He
I have
tried
stuff
doing this
later.
show at 9 a.m., but we were like, no, dude, we got to work. It's like some of us have a job.
Yeah, you were working during the Tigers game.
I was.
I was.
I can.
Evan was.
I was multitasking. Very important skill in the business place.
I was working too.
Weekly check-ins, Detroit Tigers making the ALDS, Pookies and Dookies of the week for football, Michigan State, Michigan, and
Oh.
Lions, all in this show. But before we get into
Alex.
any sports, Alex.
I golf on Thursday. Some people last week did believe that a team could shoot 9 under in a scramble on a simulator. Well, you'd be happy to know we didn't shoot 9 under this week for the
11
first time
under.
this year.
Let me guess,
No.
you got the longest drive again this week.
No,
Oh!
no, we didn't. I played pretty well. The team was not as well. We did make a double
Whoa.
bogey.
Bad teammate. You've always been.
Shout out you.
We made a double bogey on a par 3 because we
Double
all.
bogey.
Okay, so the first 3 people, I won't last. First 3 people hit 8 irons short into the water. It was a par 3 of this water. It's like
Island Green.
165. They all hit in the water. 8 irons. I hit it in par 3.
Not a
so
big
it's
deal.
like- so I'm still gonna hit an 8 iron.
No.
And they're like, yeah, but you need to step on this. I'm like, all right. I'm gonna hit an 8 iron. And I did. I swung hard and I flew over the green OB into the woods. So then we went all 4 out of bounds.
They probably felt super wimpy when you hit over the green with your 8 iron.
Yeah, they did. And then we had to re-tee. So then I think so. I put it on.
Strict
and we
rules.
putted. Well, it's just how the simulator
Take your
responded.
drop.
You can't take a drop.
Throw your ball at the simulator screen and it drops it next to the green.
So that was Thursday. Friday did not do anything that I can think of.
You watched
Likens.
Miami, Virginia Tech, probably.
Yeah, I did. I'm on season. I'm about to be on the Battle of the Bastards in Game of Thrones. So
Wow. Who could forget?
pretty exciting stuff. Grant would forget since he didn't see it.
Season 5.
I think that's 5, right?
No
Close.
idea. Felt right.
Jorah Mormont just discovered his grayscale. I just watched that scene at lunch today. Tyrion goes into the water. Good stuff. Good show. Great show. Feels like I'm watching it for the first time again. And then Saturday, I continued on my run journey for the triathlon. Getting better, slowly getting better. And then Saturday at like 4, I went to the bar. There's a street in Houston. It's in the Heights. Okay, there's like a bunch of neighborhoods in Houston that are all Houston, but they all have these names for them. I don't know how any other way to describe it.
Big cities have that. Think Greek town.
Yeah,
for example.
Sure. But I live in like Washington Ave, like Memorial Park area. Like that's what people call it. And then just north of me, I'm talking like half a mile, is called the Heights.
Hell yeah.
And the Heights is where like basically from where I am up through the Heights is like where all the mid-20s to mid-30s people live.
Hell yeah.
And then there's 2 streets in the Heights, 19th and 20th, which is just like 2 strips of bars that are all like outdoor, half indoor bars. Like, I don't know, open air concept bars with a bunch
Sounds
of TVs.
like a vibe.
And it's just tons of people. So I went down there Saturday.
Mixed and mingled.
Second half of the A&M game, a lot of A&M people in this town, so bar was packed with A&M people.
Arkansas?
Yeah, it's a big game for them.
A&M come back and win?
Game. They did.
They did win. I don't think they covered though, because I lost that bet.
Yeah, it's a trophy game. I didn't know.
Jerry World though, it loses some of its luster. They need to play
not
at home
anymore.
sites.
This was the final one.
Good.
So that was fun. Then watch, Michigan State, Ohio State. There were some Michigan State people there.
Go
watching.
green.
So it was sad. The Alabama-Georgia moment was pretty electric in the bar. I mean, people were going bananas. There's a lot of Alabama fans there. So to watch them all just go into this deep, dark depression and then come back to life in the span of like 48 seconds was pretty cool to watch.
Did you try to find the nearest pretty girl and tell her that Ryan Williams is only 17 years old?
No, but I was yelling that. So yeah, it was fun. It was a good time. It's a beautiful, beautiful evening, 80 degrees. Couldn't ask for much more. And then Sunday I was supposed to golf Sunday. Some of Saturday got the best of us, and we did not make the tee time. So it's a recovery day on Sunday.
Wow.
And then I went to the Tigers game yesterday. So
hell yeah. Eat them up.
Eat them up. I got chirped all game long from all directions.
What's the meanest thing someone said to you?
Well, okay, so I was with that Michigan guy again.
Oh, no.
And
trouble follows.
He clearly, so early in the game, he gets up. We're in right field or left field. And we get up. He stands up, announces to the crowd, "You can't call balls and strikes from here. You can't see it. You can't call that." Just
that's funny.
Up. Stands up and screams it to the crowd.
I could see Evan doing that.
There's this lady. She's like mid-30s, maybe early 40s. Her husband also there wearing one of those like big, I don't know if you guys saw on TV, those big like orange foam cowboy hats.
Oh, the worst.
And he was wearing a replica World Series ring on his hand. Most ridiculous thing I've ever seen.
Oh my
that was her husband.
That mattress.
She's wearing a. No, I've actually met him though. She was wearing a like sequin jersey, but it was like long enough to be a dress.
Cute.
No buttons.
No buttons.
It was just like a
Skin
football
tight.
jersey. No, it was baggy. It was weird. And she took extreme offense to the comment about balls and strikes. Turns around, double bird, and just she starts going, "You cannot insult a woman like that. It is just you don't come into Texas. I know you flew here. You can't come to Texas and disrespect women." I'm like, she's like going off. Right. So I'm trying to just calm the situation down. I'm just telling my friend, look ahead. We just don't worry about that. Eyes on the game.
Right.
And then I don't know, a little later, Scoobel had like the 3 pitches, and it was like pop out, ground out, pop out, like very fast inning. And, we clapped like normal people do for their fans or for their teams. They clap. And she just looks around and she's like, it's so disrespectful that you're clapping. So disrespectful. She's standing up, just screaming.
She sounds like a Michigan State fan in Spartan Stadium. That's what she sounds
this
like.
Lady
I'm having PTSD to that.
This lady was like full-blown Karen. Like the most Karen. If you could see this on social media at some point. So then the game goes on. Every time the Astros do anything remotely okay, she stands up, turns around, double birds us, and claps in our face every single time. When Scooble had the little cramp up moment, the dudes behind us are just screaming, he's a I hope he's tore his ACL. They're just like cursing him, saying he should be injured. Of course, the guy with me turns around. He's like, hey, man, it's not cool to cheer for injuries. And the Astros dude behind him looks at him, oh, you don't want me to cheer for injuries. You right in his face, just calls him. So that was funny. And then the 2 dudes in front of me, they were just like kept putting on their rally caps and looking at us. And like, you see this rally cap?
I like that. I like those guys.
Yeah, they were on our side for the most part because the people around us were ridiculous, but they were just making jokes. And then it got to like 7th inning. He said he made a comment again to this sequin lady. I don't remember what it was. And she says something like, "Oh, when Bregman hit it like near home run, but it was just a single." Remember that?
Yeah, scary. Oh yeah, I do.
It's terrifying because that was right by us, and we couldn't really see it. It looked like it was gonna go. And then she's freaking out. She's like, home run, just screaming, clapping in our face. And then the guy I'm with, he's like, no, that was a single. Probably just like you.
Oh!
And then she just flashes her ring at him, which we knew she was married. So I don't know why he said that. And she's like, oh, you're going to be here tomorrow, aren't you? I'm going to have some people find you. I'm going to have them all find you.
Threats.
She's like threatening to like, get him like killed the next day if he comes back. And then she sits down, she stands up again, turns around, takes her phone out, starts taking pictures of us. So, we're like posing for the pictures and we're like thumbs up. And then she's like, oh, I'm going to put this on Facebook. It's going on Facebook and these people are going to find you. What is wrong with you?
You need to watch your back, Alex. Your door locked?
She was insane. It was bad because her husband didn't even say a single word to us. He just like sat there in like embarrassment.
Not his first time, yeah.
You'd think the chirping would be over after that in the 7th. But no, in the 8th inning, this granny from 2 rows behind us, I'm talking like 70 years old. She's had a couple beers. She's definitely drunk. She comes down 2 rows, like goes over the chairs, like is falling over, and then punches the dude I'm with in the back and goes, just so you know, the dude next to you is better looking than you. He's like, okay, I don't give a And then she goes, her husband is like an old grandpa. He is so embarrassed. He is like, guys, I am so sorry. I don't know what she's doing. And he's like, please don't engage with her. She goes back to her seat, starts chucking popcorn at him. Just throwing popcorn at him. I was like, this is the most ridiculous baseball game I've ever been to.
That had to make you feel good, though. She basically said you're hot.
No, she's talking to another guy that we were with.
Oh.
One of the guys we were with was still in his work clothes.
Oh.
It was a funny bit because we made fun of him for the whole game. But
Got it.
So yeah, it was an eventful game. The sequin lady left in the 8th inning. Didn't even stick around for the end of the game. Oh my gosh,
what a fraud.
Acted like that, and then she left. But yeah, that was my week. More eventful than normal, I guess.
Yeah. Evan?
Friday night, saw some high school football.
W or loss?
It was a W for the team that I was there watching.
They played Pinckney then?
I did not go to the Tecumseh game. Tecumseh lost.
Got it.
I went to a different game.
Are you fielding offers?
Am I fielding offers?
Are you in the coaching carousel?
No, far from it. I wasn't driving to Pinckney twice in 1 week.
After that first JV week or 7th and 8th grade week of points, we're starting to field some offers.
Yeah. No. Family friends. And then Saturday woke up and golfed in a golf scramble in the rain.
You guys are still golfing. I feel like I'm missing out. I haven't golfed since July.
It's still nice. It's still nice out.
I know. I feel bad.
It is.
Golf
It is so
Saturday
nice
in the
out.
rain, and then after that, just embarked on a bar hop drinking college football fest. It was nice.
You did the Tecumseh bar crawl?
Did the Tecumseh bar crawl, tavern, Mucks, house, college football, all afternoon.
Oh yeah.
It was great. Sunday, woke up hungover.
Nice.
It was bad.
Me too.
Both you guys. Wow.
It was just because I didn't drink water before I went to bed. I knew it for a fact as soon as I woke up in the morning. And plus, my body woke me up like it was like work. And so I was just tossing and turning from 6 a.m. on. I was like, this is miserable.
Same thing happened to me.
That's
It's the
miserable.
worst thing ever.
Watch just the NFL just is so freaking boring.
Stop it.
It is. If you tell me one good game that was on Sunday.
Young Wei Koo hit a walk-off.
Saints Falcons. Texans Jags.
I can't remember what I did Sunday, but I did not see the end of that. I remember.
There's a lot of points I felt like this weekend based on the fantasy scores, so at least that was going for us.
Vikings Packers got interesting.
It did.
It was just snooze fest to me. However, Tuesday, yesterday, home games halfway through the season. Rough week. Middle school football. Alex.
Halfway through the season was the part that surprised me.
6 weeks.
6 games, Alex. We already played
6
3.
weeks, 12 games.
I
Total.
feel like we missed a game.
No.
Well, technically,
I forgot it was only 6 weeks.
Did
but it's
miss
12
a game
games.
because we did a Monday before. So we've played. Actually, I played
Yes,
2
we
football
did miss
games.
a game. I knew it.
Yeah. Technically, I played 2 football games since the last time we've had the podcast.
And the goal was 120 points, and you're at 72, you said?
I believe that's correct. I don't know. I think I added our...
Just above 50% of the way there.
I can go back and look at the scores because you sent them diligently every week.
I should have 3. So with that, it was a rough... it wasn't too bad. It was
Good defense.
defense is playing good. I can't do anything about it. And we struggle to score points. Bounce back, got a rivalry game this week, so we'll see how we go.
Adrian?
Chelsea.
That was the other answer. Either Adrian or Chelsea.
Varsity is
GFC.
Varsity is Chelsea on Friday. We have them on Tuesday.
GIFC.
Other than that, middle school football has put a damper of me watching the Tigers game. Past couple
You
days,
watched today.
I got to see the last out. I was...
That's sad. The 8th inning
Ground ball
was
to
a
second.
roller coaster.
Yep. I checked my phone after I got out of practice today, and I had 211 message notifications.
That has to be close to the
About
most
right.
you've ever had.
I think it is. I think it tops it. The other day, after Tuesday's game, I had 151.
Did you think Tigers won or lost, or had you already know the score by the time you saw those texts?
I got spoiled the score on the way out of practice. Somebody said, "Oh, the Tigers are up 5-2."
And when you heard that, who do you think had the big hit at the moment?
I didn't know.
Probably not Andy Ibanez.
No. Grant Sky.
My guy.
That's about it. I don't think anything else exciting happened. No, nothing else. That's it.
I can go.
Grant, what'd you do?
Pretty dull weekend. Just kidding. Pretty, some would say life-changing, big life milestone. Got engaged this weekend.
First one on the podcast to do so. Congratulations.
Thank you.
First and last one on the podcast to get engaged. Congratulations.
No claps for that.
Oh.
Yeah, they'll say, I'm not going to go into crazy detail about the trip because Alex is going to get mad that I say everything's unbelievable. But if you
if you had another meal, oh my God, you got to
not even the meal, is more just the town in general. The town of Glen Arbor might be a top 3 town in the state of Michigan. I think it gets
world.
I think it's very underrated because I think when people go, so we went to Sleeping Bear Dunes. I think when people go to Sleeping Bear Dunes, they normally think about Traverse City, staying in that area, some of the bigger towns over there. But Glen Arbor is the town that's like right in Sleeping Bear Dunes. It's very, very cool. It's very small. It's not very touristy from what I saw. Granted, it also was like out of season. You're going almost in the start of October, but the weather
Global warming.
Weather was truly unbelievable. You looked at
Shout out.
Well, the weather in East Lansing looked fine for the night game, but if you watch the Ann Arbor game earlier in the day, that was miserable. I think Rochester was terrible, rainy and cloudy.
It was southeast Michigan, southern Michigan, just rained nonstop.
That was bad. In Glen Arbor, I kid you not, it was between the degrees of 65 and 72 the entire weekend with minimal wind and no clouds. It was
shout out global warming.
Shout out whatever it was, but it was great. I know people are probably wondering, did you climb the Sleeping Bear Dunes? I did not climb the Sleeping Bear Dunes. If I go again, that is on my list of things to do. But overall, great trip, great weather, great food. Not going to go into every detail, but yeah, truly a weekend leaving. I was like, I cannot believe we got that lucky that everything that like we kind of planned about doing or the weather like worked out perfectly. So very cool.
Do you have any idea?
Yeah, she would definitely tell you. It's kind of, I mean, it was hard because the rental we stayed in was like a studio apartment. So it's just one room and then the bathroom. And so I had the ring in my bag in like a little discreet box that the place gave me so I could put it in my pocket and it wouldn't be obvious. So I needed to get it from my bag into my pocket before we went out to the beach to do it during the sunset. And I was like, I don't know how to do this. So I just like try to put my back to her and like reach in there and grab it while I get my gum. Or so what I decided to do was like I offered her a piece of gum before we went out there. And then we walked out of the door and I was like, oh, I forgot a piece of gum myself. That was dumb. So I went back in and that's when I put it in my pocket. And she says at that moment, she's like, why would he, like, it'd be weird of him to forget to give himself one if he gave me one. Yeah. So that was probably a mistake.
That is not great.
And then during it, she'd always told me she didn't really want many people around, which I took very literally, like, nothing in public, but there was like some people also, oh, bless you. There was some people watching the sunset on the beach as well. And they were like 20 yards, 30 yards away from us on both sides. And one couple was walking their dog and they kept kind of going up and down the beach. And I really didn't want them to get that close when I wanted to do it. And she said I was looking left and right at the people the entire time, that she kind of realized that, like, yeah, this is a little too obvious. But there was one point because sunset was at like 7:30. We had to leave for dinner that we had afterwards at like 8. And it was like 7:45 and I don't think I had done it yet. And then I did it like right around then. So she said towards the end, she was like, oh, maybe it's not happening. So there was a little bit of element of surprise, I guess. But she never found the ring when I hit it. I mean, I'd had it for a while, so that was good. So
how many people did you have to call? Did it get exhausting? Probably
no.
Her.
Not that bad. We just called our parents that night because it was already late after we got back from dinner. And then she called some people the next day and whatnot. But
not bad.
Yeah. All right. But with all that, let's hop into sports. The ALDS, the Tigers. Alex, you talked about your experience with the crowd. Jesus, so loud. Huh? What was it like being at a playoff baseball game in enemy territory? Was it super nerve-wracking, or any major takeaways you had?
Forget Grant, this is in his first playoff game.
Yeah, let's just start there. This is
in away territory.
Daddy's first playoff game.
Yeah, right. But in a
let
decade,
me just say, you could tell that this town is used to winning because
looked like a lot of empty seats.
Yeah. Well, it filled in pretty good by like middle of the game, but like at the start of the game, I'm like, oh my God, there's nobody here. It was in the middle of a workday, which I get. They also have never played in the wild card, or maybe they have once in the last 7 years. They're always just, in the LDS, and then
that would make sense.
Always in the ALCS. So I think a lot of their fans were just banking on getting to the ALCS, and then that's when they all get crazy and go.
Yeah.
But the environment was was not impressive by any means. It was loud in the ninth.
You hear that, Astros fans?
Yeah, I mean, they weren't nice. What I've learned from working here, is that Houston is very, very fair weather. They're like, oh, we're great. We'll show up in the World Series, or we don't care at all until then, pretty much. That's just how their sports town is. With all their sports, that's why, like, when the Lions play the Texans, there's probably going to be more Lions fans there. They just don't care that much until they're good. Like,
the cockiness,
until they're in the playoffs, they don't care.
The cockiness factor you're talking about reminds me of Alabama fans before the Rose Bowl. They just had this certain aura to them that, like, oh, like, yeah, there's a football game going on. Like, I'm sure our athletes will just be out of you, and we'll see you in the championship.
That is how everyone there was acting. They're just like, oh yeah, like, this is like a warm up. Like, they just, like, did not even, like, remotely consider the fact that they could lose. They had no intentions of losing.
That's sweet. That makes me feel better.
Like the dudes with their rally caps, they're like, yeah, guys, we've been here before. Like, come on. And we're like, and then when we were leaving, they're like, we'll see you for game 3. Like, they were just so sure. Like, oh, that was a fluke. See you for game 3.
Wow.
Not game 2. We'll see you for game 3.
Wow.
Fluke with Scooble on the mound. Yeah, give me a break.
They didn't even know who Scooble was.
Yeah, these people are delusional.
Yeah, I think most of the team, like the fans, think that like they know Altuve, they know Bregman, and I don't think they really and Alvarez. But after that, they're like, "Is Verlander pitching today?" Like, well, he didn't actually make the wild card roster.
Yeah, was he? He was. They showed him in the dugout after though. Do you get to sit in the dugout still?
Yeah, I mean he's on the team,
but just not. He can't be.
He couldn't play.
It's like, okay, so it's like when you're
it was like
inactive in a
Jameis
football
Winston
game.
showing up for when he was suspended in full uniform.
That's its own thing. That was so good.
But I think he was wearing his uniform in the first game because they like announced all the players pregame. Like the whole they announced everyone. They announced like the accountants for the Astros in the beginning. They all ran out of the dugout. I was like, what are we doing?
It's like Russell Wilson fully dressed up in eye black next to Mike Tomlin when he's a healthy scratch or injured scratch.
Well, at least he's the emergency QB, so like he could actually end up playing.
The accountants got announced.
Literally, like the whole staff was
director of finance. Yeah. Him.
Come on down.
Basically how it was.
That's funny. That's a funny visual.
But yeah, atmosphere was okay. I mean, as someone who's been in the Tigers playoff game, the Tigers atmosphere was 20,000 times better. It was like standing the entire game type of atmosphere in Echo America. And these people, like, I could stand up because I was right in front of the like camera well thing. You know, it's like on an elevated surface right behind me in left field. So I could stand up. But like everyone else around me, like if people in front of me stood up, they'd look back like, oh, sorry, I'm standing. Like, well, it's playoff baseball. I mean, you can stand. I don't give a shit. Have
you watched the clip of the Bregman one that was almost a home run? Were you in that area? Because I slowed it down last night when I was watching the highlights to see if I could see you, but I could not. I didn't know if you were in that. Like,
I didn't see the clip.
If you the clip later tonight, you should see it and see if you can find yourself.
I was pretty close, but I could have been just off screen at that point.
Cleveland's going to be a zoo, so that's going to be a lot different for the ball club. They're going to have their towels ready. Did they give out towels for the wild card? Or no,
that's what I mean. Like they thought this was like a warm up for like the actual playoffs. Like they just didn't care.
Yeah,
didn't even get to see the train move.
Oh yeah, no home runs. That's crazy. If you would have told me in both games that no Astro would hit a home run, I would not have believed you.
Every time Bregman or Altuve stepped up, I was like, oh, they're hitting a bomb right to him.
Their park is so small too. There's an article I was reading before the series started about how they do adjustments to people's ERAs based on how friendly of a park they are. And obviously ours are lower because we have such a pitcher-friendly park in Comerica. And they're like, yeah, their ERA would actually be this if they pitched in Minute Maid. And I was like, oh, damn, there's going to be a lot more runs in this series than I think.
Last thing, indoor baseball stadiums are a no for me. They just, it looks dumb. I think it looks stupid.
Outdoor stadiums
There's not many of them, so it's pretty fair.
Yeah, it just feels weird. It's like dark the roof in there too. They never do. It's too hot out.
I mean this in the best way, but I'm thinking of like big picture stuff because we're new to this. We've never had to break down baseball games on this show because the team has been so horrendous. So I was thinking more big picture. The run, like it's starting to feel very real now, but it's still, as of like 5 days ago before they clinched, it's this whole thing we've been living the last month doesn't feel real. Like it feels like not to be not that I'm not taking it seriously, but like, I just kept thinking, oh yeah, they're having a nice run, but the Twins will probably turn it on or whatever. We'll blow it. Like, I don't think this team will actually make the playoffs. And then they do. And then I remember thinking going before game 1, Alex, you're probably different because you were there, so you're gonna like talk yourself into it. I
had full belief we were winning game 1.
I was like, I've seen Kershaw go there and like give up a lot of runs. Like, this is Scooble's biggest game. Like, what if I could see Bregman hitting a home run earlier, Altuve hitting a home run earlier, Alvarez, and be like, oh shit. Like, it was cool to get to the playoffs, but we're probably screwed. And I for sure thought that in the 9th inning, where I was like, yep, well, this is just how it all comes crashing down.
Mark was racing in the 9th.
They win that, and I'm like, yeah, okay, like the Astros will probably win in 3 games, and it'll suck. And then we just do what we did today, and now I'm just like, am I fully supposed to believe this team could make it to the World Series? Or like it feels very more real now, and I almost feel like a guilty fan for like doubting it the entire time. But I think it's fair for the last decade of this franchise. But like I was not prepared for it, and I'm still like slowly training my body to get into baseball mode. It feels like I've gone from 0 miles an hour of caring about baseball to 100, and I feel a little bit like a fraud. But I'm doing my best to learn everything I can. It's crazy. I don't know if you guys feel similar at all.
We just ran up on the back of the train and hopped on, and now it's just going full speed, and we're like, holy shit.
I feel like, oh yeah, Gritty Tigs. I've called them that forever. It's like I just learned that was a thing like 2 months ago.
When I'm watching the 9th inning in person, my nerves are like fully on tilt, and I'm like, dude, you haven't cared about baseball in like 10 years, and now all of a sudden you're just locked into a playoff game. Like this hit me right in the face. I wasn't ready for it. But we also play the most disgusting brand of baseball all time, so I think it's pretty fair to say
it's not disgusting, Alex, if it works.
No, I totally get that.
Don't have any
the only thing
that how you have to play it, and I think it's better for this team that can work because we don't rely on the home run,
which is fine. But
that's true.
Watching it, it's fair to be like, oh, like this is cool. This is great. I'm glad they're doing it. But you have to think in your head a little bit. This cannot last like doing this. But it is. I don't know how, but it is. It's a strange way.
Get the Cy Young throwing at least
that
once
guy,
a series.
When he pitches, that's
at least once a series he's going to throw.
That guy's sick. Evan, do you feel it differently? I feel like you stay more tuned into like Tigers when they've been terrible than either of us.
My mindset was a little different. Down the back stretch, you kind of talking to people that care about the Tigers too. Like Friday night was awesome. When we clinched and all those clips of that.
That was sweet.
Awesome.
That was good. I thought that was going to be the peak.
Yep. 100%.
And then that's what I told myself. I was like, all right, just win one game. I was like, all right, we have Scooble on the mound. He's fantastic. Win the first one. And I was like, this morning at work, mindset is, how are we going to manufacture some runs? How are we going to do it?
Gross way how we do it, that's for sure.
Guys on base moving around.
We just hit singles,
and
pretty much.
One person steps up, and I think a couple of people said it best. Everyone has their game, but you don't know who it's going to be. It's not the same person over and over again. You have no superstar on the team. You have a bunch of guys just doing their job.
Yeah, it's weird.
I just don't we sold at the deadline. I remember us talking about the deadline show, and we were like,
sold Flaherty.
Our second best pitcher is gone.
So Sweeney is now our starting shortstop.
I know, who's awesome. He was such a godsend. Like, he's not amazing by any means, but like he's just steady.
There's a reason why we started winning right when we did was when you get Sweeney, Riley Green comes back, Kerry Carpenter comes back all at once.
Colt Keith, Jace Young comes up. Like they just, yeah. I remember that show when we talked about the lineup, but I also remember like not even that
Little League World Series game. Come back and beat the
first game I watched.
And not even though that long before then, we were sending hypothetical trade packages to the Orioles for Scooble, and we had national reporters on Scooble Trade Watch. And look at I just can't believe that we went from that
to now we're the ALDS.
Well, we just advanced
most improbable thing ever.
Well, the Royals are down 2-1. Nope, JK. Orioles lost. Royals advanced, so we got farther than the Orioles.
Wow.
Who on paper should win the World Series.
And we have all these guys in our bullpen that like I know some of the names, but then they'll throw out a name like I don't know who that guy is. Never heard of him. Like again, fraudulent fan that's catching up. I'm like, who's that? Oh, he's sick. It's hard to wrap my head around, but it's sweet. The 9th inning was I wanted to throw up so many times. Alex, you were there live. I don't know what the last out looked like, but on TV, Jason Hayward just rips it like good contact, and they don't pan fast enough.
Camera guy not fast enough.
Oh my god! Like it's down the line. It's like our right fielder's running after it. Game's over, but they pan and it's caught, and you're like, oh my god, they actually just won game 1.
Well, obviously, when you could hear the ball off the bat pretty clearly when he hit it because he ripped it.
Hayward too. God damn.
Everyone just erupts, but everyone's already standing, luckily, so it's not like I didn't see it. But I saw off the bat it was pretty low. I was like, I think it's going to at least hit Torkelson, like maybe in the chest. I don't know if he's going to catch it, but then he caught it, and I was like, holy shit. And then it was like dead silence. And then the guy next to me going absolutely berserk, and the Astros fans not liking that.
Unsung play of game 1. The bunt that Jake Rogers fielded and got that guy out, watching that back, that is such a tough throw and like play, like spun around, fading away from first base, just a dot to torque. That was a huge play.
The mustache.
Yeah, whatever he's got going on, he's like a heartbeat of the team. And obviously, Bo Brisky coming in, shutting the door like that.
Do you know 2 years ago he could only throw 93, and now he hit 101 in that game twice?
Yeah. I'm seeing all the stats. I'm bookmarking everything. I'm like, wow, that's the more you know.
He was a starter. Now he's a bullpen guy. He's got nastier stuff now that he's in the bullpen.
I do remember him starting. That was at like our low points when he was a starter.
People thought he was going to be really good. People were excited about him.
Just found a way.
I also thought there was going to be a bloop single that Riley Green caught that was right in front of me. I was like, oh my God. Off the bat, it was like hooking around. I'm like, oh my God, there's no way that he's even close to this ball. And then it was like a routine catch. So it's like, wow, that happened like more than once. It's probably because I haven't watched baseball in a while and don't realize what it looks like anymore. Yeah, that did look like a bloop for sure. The nuts also, mustache man, Jake Rogers swinging a 3-0 pitch to drive in the first run of that game. Crazy. Yeah, crazy huge maneuver. I guess we can move to game 2. Game 2 was like, credit to the kid from Wayne State. He was absolutely just dominating for the majority of that game. Shoving.
Thought for sure the game was over when Jackson Jobe had his moment. I guess I don't know if manager Evan was that as crazy as we all felt that it was in the moment? Because it might have been. It might have been like
I missed it all. I didn't see any of it.
It's a really bad spot to put that kid in.
It basically just like they brought in Jobe to pitch the 7th inning. And
top of the 7th, bottom of the 7th, nobody on, nobody out.
Yeah, bottom of 7, we're up 1-0 after Parker Meadows' home run. Brings him in, and Portnoy was dialed into the game now, and the Barstool guys, and he was like, I thought it was fair. Jackson Jobe didn't really give up any hard contact. It was just like all this like little shit that added up. That was like,
hit a dude on the first pitch of
he did hit the first
immediately came in.
He was riled up. His body got in front of his arm. Probably.
Then his right hand
batter.
Lefty. He hit a lefty.
Yeah.
And then his like earpiece thing wasn't working, so then they had to like switch that out. So then they had
I didn't know they had those.
It went like it was just a really bad spot for like a kid who's played 4 baseball games in majors.
And then they bunted and they got a single. We couldn't get anyone out on a bunt, and the bases were loaded, nobody out. They left him in. I can describe to you with my words. They had a ground ball to Torque. He laid out Evan. Your guy made a great defensive play, lays out on the edge of the grass. He has to skip it to Rogers. It's the only play he had. He went home with it. It just took an unfortunate hop where it got Rogers like in his armpit, like above glove side where you can get it, and it stuck there and bounced out. And so the Astros were safe. And that was just, I was like, oh, we're losing. It's 1-1, bases loaded, nobody out. We got on it with
pop fly.
A sac fly that was shallow, but Veerling had to run a mile, and they the fastest guy alive.
According to your roommate, Evan, he was mad. Your roommate was pissed about that.
Pissed about it, but I mean, it's almost like Jeremy Pena got a great read. And then we got double play. We brought in.
Double play was the unsung moment of the game.
Yeah, we brought in. Who'd we bring in there?
I don't know. That's like his.
Oh, Sean Gunther came in to replace Jobe, and we got a double play to keep it 2-1, and then. Carpenter single, Veerling single, wild pitch, Evan. First and third.
I saw one tweet that they tied it up with a wild pitch.
Insane. Just a gift from the gods that we got.
The 2 Astros relievers that are their most reliable.
Not
Blew the game.
reliable. So it was off
weren't
Hater.
reliable today.
So
And then
$19 million man.
great at bats by Colt Keith and Torkelson. They both walk. Hater came in between them.
Torque's been walked
then-
3 times. For your guy.
Fear him.
got a great eye. They don't want a torque bomb. They know what the group chat would have.
God, I wanted the torque bomb so many times when I was sitting out there.
We're gonna
I'm
get
like,
one at
please.
home to go to the ALCS just to walk off freaking right off the Guardians.
Oh my god! And then
We won't see it.
We'll live
in a
it.
twist of fate, I looked up the clip. I put something on our social media if you want to go look. How similar, anyone listening, how similar the Delman Young doubled on the line was to Andy Ibanez. It's actually insane how close they are. Andy Ibanez, bases loaded, just rips a triple down the line. Well,
Couldn't really
technically
even
a double,
see it.
but couldn't see it. I had a
I
feeling
thought it
based
was
on the
foul
camera.
when I was
You were
watching.
you were there live, but I feel like there was no room in foul territory between that wall. So I feel like if it was anywhere closer on there, it had to be fair. It looks like there's no room between the wall
Yeah,
and
where like the
line.
ball boy is like sticking out. After that, there's a little more room, but other than that, it's like right down it. Like the Bregman
That-
one in game 1, that was just right down the line to the left, and there's like no running room over there at all.
Sneaky great thing in sports is when you're not sure if it's fair or foul and you see the point in, just the know where it's in. That's a great feeling when it's for your team.
Doesn't have to
Oh,
say
that's
anything,
good.
just a hand signal.
Just a hand
Good one.
signal. Team going nuts after that, and then they win. Then they're here. Also, Will Vest
Easy
looking really
nights.
nice.
Will
Really
Vest
nice.
from
Great
Houston.
beard.
Great beard. Great play by Parker Meadows in the 9th. Great home run by him.
The most quiet home run ever.
Well, I don't know. You mean off the bat, or what do you mean?
Like he
quiet?
hit it. I think this is when the sound was all messed up, and then I just was like, "Oh, it's gone. That's gonna go." But like no one's reacting because you're on the road. And also the Riley Green double in game 1, was that him?
Yeah.
What was that?
The ground rule double into the fence.
Dude,
or the fence?
everyone in the stadium just like sat there. It was like, "Oh, that ball's foul," and like everyone's just like looking away. And then it dropped. And it was the most confusing thing I've ever seen live.
Oh, but that was the one that didn't he like hit to the sky?
It went very high.
Yeah.
That's why.
I-
Like, how did their outfielder not get there?
I don't know. We should describe to Evan what happened on YouTube TV.
Oh,
At points throughout this game, first of all, the announcers were terrible. If
so bad. Oh my
Well,
god!
it's people that don't do national games.
and
They shouldn't
they're
do
still
them.
bad. They don't do national games, but they're still
Well, the
bad.
play-by-play
They're
was the Yankees
terrible.
announcer. He doesn't want to be there.
Right.
They made some
It's-
stupid joke in the second inning, like, "Yeah, you guys have Jason Benetti all year, like you date her all year, and then we take you to prom." Like, dude, so lame.
I mean, I know baseball fans that are in the playoffs, they complain about that every year, but now it's our turn too. It's so bad. But not even that.
It's
The
because
technical
embarrassingly
aspect was disgusting. So what happened, Evan, was at points throughout the game, one, it sounded like they were underwater, like their volume just dropped and it was all muffled. But two, which was even worse, there was audio was ahead of the video. So you would hear the glove pop of the catcher or the crack of the bat before you saw what happened live. When Jackson Jobe was like just pissing down his leg, it
That
was like
happening.
you would hear the bat and you're like, oh my God, like it's either in play or foul, but I have to wait another 2 seconds to find out. It was a torture chamber to watch
It's
as it
awful.
all was like crumbling away in game 2.
So
That's why
bad.
one company shouldn't have all the postseason games.
We're on TBS, game 1 and game 2 coming up.
Yeah, but ESPN has every single wild card game.
But do they have any
I didn't
more
realize that.
after the wild card rounds?
I don't give a shit.
Probably
Well, I
not.
do.
Probably
'Cause
goes
I
to
don't want
Fox.
to. I don't want to watch it. On
I want
ESPN
Joe
every day.
Buck on Tigers baseball.
The
You
Royals
don't
know
got
Evan doesn't,
the
but-
Royals and Orioles got Sean McDonough.
No way.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, they did. I listened to it earlier.
Assholes.
That's sick. We probably won't get him next round because Yankees. Well, no,
We
will
have
Michael K get
TBS.
Yankees?
Mets,
that's right.
Mets and Brewers.
Charles
they
Barkley.
Have, Mets and Brewers. They have Giambi.
Charles Barkley.
He's pretty good. He's the Cubs guy. Used to be
Who's the
Sunday Night
TBS baseball
Baseball.
announcers?
None of it matters because it's during the day again, which continues to be the
It's on
worst.
Saturday.
Saturday
Is
at
it?
1 o'clock.
Is game one?
And then
4 o'clock on
4
Monday.
o'clock on Monday.
You can do
this
that.
Saturday at 1?
Yes.
Yes.
No.
What do you mean, no?
Red's got plans on Saturday afternoon.
You're going pumpkin patch picking.
I'm supposed to go to a cider mill with Marissa's cousins.
Oh,
I can watch it I'll watch it there.
Yes.
oh, dude, Curtis Granderson is an analyst on TBS.
He's in the booth. Him and Jimmy Rollins are not in the booth.
Play-by-play guys.
Broadcast.
Do we play Sunday then too?
No, we play Monday.
During the day again?
4.
Monday at 4.
That's okay. I can do that.
Can you listen? Jesus Christ.
Sorry. No. Oh, we're going to be like catching up from the LSU trip. Wait, no. Sorry. That's
no.
I'm so lost.
Oh my God. If it goes to game 5, game 5 is on Saturday while we're in
Game 4 is
LSU.
Thursday. You have to find a way to watch it during your travels between Detroit and Louisiana.
Could be a problem.
So, Evan, we're watching it at a bar.
That's sick.
What time is that game? Do we know?
Not predicted yet. Or not presented or whatever. It has only up till Tuesday.
The TBS announcers are Brian Anderson, Bob Costas.
Brian Anderson's very good.
Yeah, he does basketball.
He does basketball. He's the Brewers' main
color commentators are Ron Darling and Jeff Francoeur.
Playoff. Jeff Francoeur sucks.
Does he?
Who's the Mets guy? Can you name the names again? Ron Darling. He's terrible.
Ron Darling.
Horrendous at his job.
And then Curtis Granderson is a color commentator for select games, so he probably won't be doing it.
Brian Anderson looks like an announcer.
Brian Anderson is good at his job. Connor would be happy that we pump that guy up.
Yeah, we either have Bob Costas or Brian Anderson.
Well, Bob Costas is like the sideline guy.
Bring up the
no, Bob Costas is the play-by-play.
Shut up. He does not.
Yes, he is. Bob Costas and Brian Anderson are the two play-by-play guys.
He'll do the Yankees game. We'll have
Bob Costas from NBC.
We have Brian Anderson, Jeff Francoeur, and Matt Weiner.
No, Bob Costas cannot. He's like a sideline. He's like
Bob Costas does games. Just get
Bob Costas, Ron Darling, and Lauren Shahadi are in New York.
Oh,
Brian Anderson, Jeff Francoeur, and Matt Weiner in Detroit.
Lauren. I wish we had
Lauren hot.
Oh, behave, Alex.
Oh, dude, I'm excited for Brian Anderson and did I say Jeff Francoeur?
Sure,
yeah, Jeff Francoeur. And Matt
Guardians still got Jose Ramirez.
Yes.
No. Yeah, I'm sure they do.
Yes, they do.
They got that one. They got that one guy.
Well, the thing is, at one point during the year,
Quan hits bombs.
At one point during the year, they had the most home runs at home, and they had the best home record in all baseball.
Ooh, Josh Naylor, tough.
Tanner Beebe will get the ball
because they removed all the panels in their outfield, so there's just a wind tunnel. That's why they hit so many home runs.
Oh, you told us about this. I remember the wind tunnel. It all comes full circle now. I don't know how to preview.
Where are we going to start for
baseball lineups?
It's a game. One's going to be a bullpen game. Game one's going to be a bullpen game.
I'm worried about our pitching chaos in a 5-game series.
Yeah, this is my projection.
Like I said,
my projection is game one is going to be a bullpen game, or game one's going to be Montero, and then vice versa.
And my feeling is game one's going to be game 3 at home.
My game, yes, because that would give.
That'd be hot.
Because he had 5 days. He pitched on Tuesday, so Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
He'll be jacked up at home.
Sunday we have off. So he'll pitch. He'll pitch Monday. Scooble's pitching Monday for sure.
4:00 TBS.
I would love
Tanner
if you come
Beebe
home
for the
oh my
Guardians.
God! Do not let the Tigers come home 1-1 for Game 3. Don't let that happen. You're gonna bury us. You're gonna bury us.
That's why I think we're gonna do bullpen first game, because second game it will have Scooble. Third game you have another off day. I think it's gonna be Montero with a little bit more. Montero's only can go 3 or 4 innings. And then hopefully
Tyler Holden's going to start again.
Montero, though, will we change it? He didn't even make the wild card roster.
Really? Our rookie?
Yeah.
Oh,
Montero and Maeda were the 2 scratches from pitching for the wild card roster.
I
thought Maeda made sense, but
Maeda.
it can shift series to series, so maybe we add more pitching in since it's more games.
Well, we're not going to find out.
I think Hinch came in as light as possible with pitching, obviously, because it's only 3 games, and you went more
position players.
Bench players.
You're gonna have to add an arm. You have to flip flop somebody.
What do we know about Tanner Beebe?
I think, that's a name I recall from just Beebe is a memorable name. I remember they have
Shane Bieber.
Isn't their closer the guy the Guardians want to win the Cy Young, Klaas or Clace?
Yes, probably.
He's supposed to be. So basically, if we get to him, we might be screwed because he's sick.
Yeah. He hasn't faced Torkelson. Grant, come on.
That's also true. The unstoppable force meets an immovable object.
BB against Detroit has started 4 games.
What's his record against it?
He probably owns us.
22 innings pitched, 19 hits,
Tigers.
11 earned. That's pretty bad.
Oh, Scooble's on the injury report.
Yeah, he's cramping.
Day to day.
Said he's fine.
He's just cramping. He needs
so
more water.
Hot down in Houston. That's why.
This guy buns against the Tigers.
Okay, the Guardians' batting average isn't that much better.
I was just looking at that. Their OPS guys did not impress me, but I'm not going to say anything because I don't know much about baseball.
0.04 better. On base percentage, their batting average is 0.004. Their on base percentage is 0.007 better than ours.
You guys think Matthew Boyd's going to get the ball in the game too?
We should pitch.
That'd be a
we
blast
should pitch. We should pitch Job all 9 innings in game 1. Let him rebound.
That sounds like a terrible idea.
All right, I just looked. I don't think this means anything because I think the teams are so different, especially the Tigers back half of the year. But the Guardians won the season series 7-6, so pretty damn even.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm looking at their team and they don't look that scary.
I don't.
They don't have a superstar. They have
else.
Jose Ramirez
and Naylor and Quan.
You can watch this game on HBO Max.
Quan could be a Tiger killer. I feel like that guy's just going to give us fits. I hate to say that.
Who is going to be the Tiger killer in this series?
Steven Kwan.
Nah, I don't think there is a Tiger killer in the series. It's going to be someone we really don't want it to be in the next round. It's going to be like
off the record
Judge in the ALCS.
And he's
it should be a 7-game series. Come on.
I agree. But maybe not good for our pitching. We might need small sample sizes. I think this helps us. Like this had might that debate be a couple weeks ago.
If we get to the ALCS, it might be a disaster using this philosophy.
Just give me Ohtani.
People are going to be tired.
Oh, Alex, professional athletes. Jesus Christ.
Remember, a few years ago, Gary Gillen said, you should just have 1 pitcher per inning. He's been pumping that narrative for years.
He did not say that.
Oh, I have. Oh, a long time ago. He's been pumping this since I was in Little League. He texted me again today, and he's like, wow, my philosophy finally happening in the playoffs of Major League Baseball.
Well, the race started with the openers and didn't really work out for him.
Yeah, we are the Rays, basically.
We are Moneyball.
Yep.
We have a fat Jonah Hill somewhere running this operation.
But his name's Sky Harris. He just does it all.
Now there's a guy helping Scott.
Hot.
Dude, I just spit out my water all over my notebook.
You did. I got your ass.
My God.
That's funny.
I need a towel.
All right, shifting into football, which is still a sport. We talk about Pookies and Dookies, or winners and losers, the old term. Let me start with a Pookie. Evan, you'll like this one. This was a Pookie week for college football fans. You got to see one of the great regular season games we've gotten to see in probably the last, couple of years. I'm not going to go crazy. Some people are saying it's the best game ever. It's not that.
People in the bar are saying.
Can I highlight your point here? This is
add on to that, Pookie.
Saturday night, boom, Alabama, Georgia. I don't know how, as a football fan, you go from that to NFL Sunday, and still in your mind you think, yep, these games were better than that Alabama Georgia game.
They're different.
I just don't know how, in your mind, you're like, yep.
They're just different.
But you're also talking about the best the sport has to offer. If you go Chiefs, Rams, Goff versus Mahomes Monday Night Special, that goes toe to toe with what we watched in Tuscaloosa. You're taking the pinnacle of college football. The pinnacle of the NFL is still amazing. Josh Allen, Mahomes, 40 seconds, whatever, how many scores that was. Those games are same level.
That was a playoff game. This is a regular season versus regular season. Georgia, Ohio State goes right up against with Buffalo.
No.
Kansas City.
No, I don't think so.
No, not that good.
Alabama, Michigan. You lived it, Grant.
No. I'm biased. A lot of people hated that game. They said it was terrible until the end.
That game sucked, Evan.
I think it's one of the best, but a lot of people hate that game.
That game sucked for me.
Georgia, Oklahoma Rose Bowl. Now that was Rose Bowl action.
Ohio State, Utah Rose Bowl. That was pretty good.
Evan, I think the point that you're maybe making is the stakes. So this was something I was worried about. with the expansion of college football, people watering down the regular season product. I think if this is any indication, those regular season matchups still pack a punch and they still are very important. I think the week in and week out of the regular season of college football means way more than, let's say, week 4 of the NFL. They're not comparable because you have so many more games, those extra 5 games in the NFL to make up ground. You have a bigger playoff, or as big of a playoff.
And the college football
now.
playoff is based off of a bunch of idiots' opinions. Now, some of
Also
them are
true.
like built in, but there's 8 of them, 7 of them are built on off of people's opinions.
You call him Ward Manuel an idiot.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
I think there's a couple reasons why it's different. Disparity in college football. There's a lot of games that are like 50-0 in college football, like when Alabama plays Vanderbilt. So when you do get to see 2 teams that are comparable and it turns into this, you're like extra jazzed up. While where in the NFL, like teams, even if they stink, they're all comparable most of the weeks and they're always like pretty decent.
Yeah,
Close-ish
there's no
games.
fight in the NFL blowout games. 0 fight.
No, there's like no blowouts in the NFL.
Sunday night
It's
football,
very rare.
blowout. Monday night football the week before, blowout.
It's rare.
Well, there's back-to-back weeks, Alex. I just said
But
blowouts.
But example, Evan, we don't have to stay too on the Pookie Dookie, but for example, I think what helps college football, like Alex is trying to say, there's so many more shots at the dartboard, so to speak, where one lands, where you go to week 1 of college football, Clemson plays Georgia, and it absolutely sucks.
No,
Then you
bad game.
get Lions Rams, you get Eagles Packers Friday night in Brazil. Like you get a lot of good matchups between comparable teams where like sometimes the college football peaks might be higher, but their duds are as low, if not lower, on some of those big matchups.
Yeah, there's also like Grant just said, there's like 60 games in college football on Saturday, and
I
there's
just think the NFL duds just are
not 60 on
worse than
Sunday.
the college football duds.
Some of them, the Browns, any game the Browns play is a
It's
dud.
just
You
the
just try to
duds
not
are-
watch those.
Duds are even
You
worse.
don't watch the duds, Evan. It's not like you're going to tune into Western Kentucky and South Alabama. You're not, and that game could be a dud, but you just don't watch it.
That's why I
avoid
don't
the
watch the
duds.
NFL. All of them.
They're not all duds. They're not all duds. That's
Most
a
of
lie.
them.
You can like both.
I had two other, I guess, kind of pookies for this game, so I'm just going to get those quick to tie this one game off. Kalen DeBoer and Jalen Milroe stood out to me, no duh, but I think a lot of people assumed that Kirby Smart was going to start dominating this rivalry once Saban
I
left.
sure did.
I thought they'd win as well. I bet actual of my hard-earned money on Georgia. They did not. And also Jalen Milroe. A lot of questions about him growing as a quarterback. He looked pretty damn good, especially in the first half. So I think Ryan Williams was my other pookie, and him and Jeremiah Smith, the 2 freshman receivers that we talked about earlier. Ryan Williams gets a lot of the headlines, but DeBoer and Milroe, I think, were more impressive to me in the sense that, like, I had more questions about them going into that game against Georgia, and they answered the call.
I mean, I do remember last year we discussed Kalen DeBoer and how like he went from a lower level up and he just keeps winning. I
Don't
think
drag
he's
me
just a
in
good
this.
coach. I just think he's a good coach. That's all
What did
I'm
I
saying.
say?
Well, you questioned that he couldn't be a good coach because he was really good in D3 or whatever. And then he just, everywhere he goes, he just continues to win like every single game he plays. pretty
Correct.
much.
I'm not counting a college football coach's Division III record towards him.
But can we count his now because it's very clear he can coach at any level?
I will count all of his Washington games. I'll
Not
count
his
it.
Fresno
And
games?
Fresno.
I will
And
count
Fresno.
most of the Fresno games. Absolutely.
Most. All right. He's a good coach.
Yeah,
Impressive
I'm
what
not
he's
questioning
able
that,
to
but
do.
I'm not adding somebody's Division III while he's 155-4 in college
Well,
football.
I think the main argument, we're not going to get into it, but was that you wouldn't like consider hiring a coach that would just sick in D3 because it won't translate up. Same with Lance Lashit, which has been Lashit this year. So I guess
you're
it's a mixed
stealing
bag.
my dookie.
You had Lance Lashit as a dookie.
Oh, I did. It makes me so happy that he's been a
are they
dookie.
2-3?
What did they do this week? I don't even watch them.
He
That's a
got
testament to
freaking
how-
run off the field at home versus TCU.
Oh, I did bet TCU money line. Hit that plus 110 or whatever it was.
Smart.
Kansas Doobie Dookie.
It just broke
That
my
game was at
mindset.
Arrowhead, wasn't it?
I think so.
What?
Yeah, half of Kansas games right are because they have construction on there. I think I just broke my headset.
I can still hear you okay. I can still hear you fine.
We can hear you just fine.
You can hear me. I can barely hear you guys. My volume's all the way up now.
Can you... Testing.
Oh, we're back. Fixed it. I don't know what I did, but it's fixed.
Don't touch it.
Huge.
I gotta get the volume up, though. Now you guys are super quiet.
Be careful.
Stop touching it.
Am I going the right way?
You're good.
Testing.
Oh, I'm going the wrong way.
Hello. Testing for Evan. Is something okay?
We're back. Lance shit's bad at football.
Okay, we had Lance the shit. Alex, Pookie or Dookie?
Well, my Pookie was going to be freshman wideouts because I got to see one of them up close and personal. But you kind of said that.
Jeremiah Smith, really good football player.
Yeah, he's really nice. He's real nice.
Fair.
They keep saying, he's better than the next. It's like, is he going to be better than Marvin Harrison? Because if I had to bet money on it, I would probably put $20 that he ends up being more insane than Marvin Harrison.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. Where do these dudes come from? Why do they all go to Ohio State?
I don't know.
Brian Hartline, that was a trick question. Evan's head coach.
I head coach.
But yeah, that was my main Pookie. I didn't have very many takes on college football this week. It's kind of a snooze outside of that game.
I could rip some off. I probably wrote down too many. Loser, Pookie, or Dookie. I'm sorry, Dookie. Ole Miss lost. 17-point favorite at home. Blew it to Kentucky. Kentucky also may not be as bad as we thought. Well, I'm on it. Dookie, Utah. Oh my God. You have the win probably of your season a couple weeks ago. Oklahoma State. I also bet Arizona plus 7.5. Could have done money line. They won that game easily. So good for them to turn it around. But Ole Miss and Utah stood out as Dookies in college football.
Dookie.
I haven't had one.
I
was
have
first.
one. Big Ten refs handing Michigan another win. Aww.
I was going to say refs.
Do you guys see they changed the rule?
Yeah, they 100% changed the rule because of that, because they know the Big Ten so bad. They're like, well, we got to do something. We'll just add an extra guy out there.
Credit to me in the moment. I looked at Marissa. I said, that was the wrong call. I feel dirty, but I'm not going to apologize.
Good for you, Grant. Happy for you.
Because I needed that win. Needed that bad.
My Dookie was going to be refs. Because also the Miami game on Friday, you can't call that a catch and then overturn it based on... I couldn't even see the football on the replays.
Pookie Dookie argument. I had Pookie because they got it right. I was just happy they figured it out.
Fine, but calling the field Dookie, then you can't have the rule the way it is and then be like, disputable evidence, indisputable evidence.
He actually Dookied down his leg and went, touchdown.
I can't believe they called that a touchdown. What were they thinking?
Either. That he caught it in bounds, I guess. Pookie.
God.
This is gross. We're going to go to one state in the country for the next two Pookies. Cannot believe I'm saying this, but Notre Dame, they got through Louisville. It's gross. They lost to Northern Illinois, but the rest of their schedule looks very manageable. And I hate to say it, but I think we're going to be talking about them for like the 12th or 11th seed in the playoff when it comes time.
They're going to make it if they go 11-1.
They don't really have many more teams that are good. Staying in that state, like I said, the Hoosiers. Rank them. Rank the Hoosiers. They are ranked top 25. They're here. They have a number by their name. Coach Sig is getting it done.
I don't care about basement bottom feeder voters in the AP poll ranking Indiana.
So you still don't think you refuse to acknowledge they're a good team?
They're a good average team. They haven't beat anyone good. You think Michigan State's a good average team because they beat Maryland?
No.
Okay. Well, that's what Indiana did.
But Indiana's looked like dominant in all their other games.
Against schools of the blind, Grant.
So they're doing what good teams do.
We'll see. They got into a real football team.
I am a little worried about Northwestern. This is a letdown spot after their first conference win.
Northwestern is horrible.
I agree. Why is the spread only 13.5?
Because Indiana hasn't beat anyone good.
No, that spread.
Yeah, that's it. That's why.
No, it's because how it works. If you're thinking in your head, on paper, Indiana should be like an 18.5 point favorite. They should win by 3 touchdowns versus Northwestern. They're not, because that's how college football works. Nervous about this spot for this Coach Sig.
I hope they lose.
I hate you for saying that.
I hope they lose every game. I hope Michigan beats them.
I want to get ahead of the allegations.
Serious. I want Michigan to beat Indiana. I'm going to root for Michigan. First time in my life.
Indiana.
That's how much you've made me hate Indiana.
No joke. No, I think Indiana would be favored by like 2 points if Michigan played there on the road this weekend. Michigan. We'll get to Michigan's underdogs.
Michigan
Washington
might be an
but,
underdog everywhere on the road in the Big Ten,
except for Northwestern.
but Northwestern's going to beat Indiana. It's
college football, Alex. Crazy stuff happens.
God, I hope you're right.
Evan, easy on the pen clicks.
Sorry.
You're good. Any other Pookies and Dookies?
Yeah, Pookie.
Dookie.
Avery Johnson.
I
Redemption
don't
arc.
like him so much.
Hit that bet too. No, I feel sounds like I bet on every game. I swear I didn't, but I did hit that one.
You're welcome.
You do have a game.
It's just a shot in your face. You know, you wake up and then you say that you're a Kansas State Avery Johnson fan, and then you just see one text message just hating on you for being an Avery Johnson fan. Really happy that the following week he redeems himself and has a big home ranked win. He played well, 3 touchdowns. Pass rating.
We don't care
of
about
92.
AP rankings. We only care about the Psalms Power Index.
They might be top
Well,
10.
that's only 10 teams, Alex. We don't have a big sample size.
Correct. There are only 10 teams deserve to be
I
ranked.
think I had him in the top 10 last time. I think I forgot
probably
somebody.
You probably
Yep,
did.
I had him at 10. Forgot Tennessee. Tennessee
But
was
they
moving.
didn't make it into the Power Index because the Power Index is composite.
Yeah.
Alex?
Yeah, my Pookie or Dookie is just your love of Indiana. It's disgusting. It's fat Dookie, smelly, gross Dookie. You can't stand it.
Oh.
It's nasty.
Ew.
It's like
Did you see the
full
text from Wilkins?
diarrhea
Evan?
Dookie.
I think I did.
What was
Oh, I
it?
thought that's what you were reacting to.
No, I'm
Well,
reacting to Alex
Indiana.
to keep on saying.
I was reacting to Wilkins just confirmed that Michigan State's wearing all white on Friday night against all yellow with a black helmet in Oregon. So that's going to be
I'm
disgusting.
sorry for all the colorblind people out there.
Wasn't that the Red Box Bowl? Wasn't it that color basically?
Yes, it was horrible. I couldn't see it.
I will take a 7-6 loss. I can tell you that right now.
We'll get to that. I have a couple. I have one more college, and then I have 2 college on each side, and then I have some NFL because I feel like we always go college heavy for this segment. But Pookie,
I guess if you bet on every single game in college football, it makes sense how you have this many Pookie and Dookies. But it was a snooze fest slate. But I was also drunk from 4 p.m. on, so I might have missed.
You were mixing and mingling on the heights.
Might have missed some stuff.
Screw Michigan, screw Ole Miss. They ruined everything on Saturday.
You can't talk about this week of college football without talking about Colorado. 2 touchdown road underdogs after an emotional Hail Mary win against Baylor, and they outright beat UCF. So that was very impressive.
Quick question.
Go
Best
Smells.
player in college football is
Favorite player?
best college football player.
Khalil Mullins.
Best.
It's Travis Hunter. It's
Okay,
Travis
thank
Hunter.
you.
Whoever
Evan?
scores a touchdown for Ohio State. That's who's the best. At that moment, that's who the best player is in college football.
Where's that answer coming from?
Evan, your Ohio State infatuation is getting just as gross as Grant's infatuation with Indiana.
Ohio State's actually a good team, Alex. Indiana's
Also,
not.
Will Howard doesn't even run QB power. You've
It's
been
bullshit.
pumping
Chip Kelly
that-
needs to open up the
He doesn't
playbook.
even do it.
He needs to open up the playbook, Alex.
Are you a puppet for Wyatt? What was that answer?
What is?
Okay,
That was-
this
what
is my
is that?
point. Okay, this is my point, Alex. When you have so many athletes on the field, you can't just give all the carries to Will Howard.
Okay,
He's
but
stealing-
Travis Hunter's the best player in college football. Your Ohio State answer made me throw
Travis
up a
Hunter's
little bit in my
overrated.
mouth.
He's overrated.
Oh, he can't be. He cannot be overrated.
Actually, he can be overrated.
Why? He has like 100 yards receiving every single game, and he intercepts a pass. He forced a game-winning fumble in overtime the week before. He's the best player in college football. They would be terrible without him.
Well, Colorado's terrible in general.
Well, they're actually like,
But they're
they
not
could
as
win the Big
terrible
12.
as they should be.
They could win the Big 12.
No,
still
they're not
alive.
winning the Big 12.
No one's saying they
UCF
are.
could win the Big 12.
Anybody
they're
with
alive.
physicality destroys them every single week.
Yeah, but
telling
they
me
still
UCF
score like 40.
No, actually, they don't. No, because Nebraska had an inch of physicality and they scored 10 points.
Oh my God! Do not let
What's Colorado's schedule?
a bye week for the Buffs. They host Avery Johnson at 10:15 p.m. in Colorado. Do not let the Buffs win.
Setting
that
my
game.
alarm.
Oh, wow. That could be big. That's
What day
next
is that?
week?
Off a bye. No, it's the 12th.
Oh!
It'll be after the LSU game. We can go watch it.
We'll go watch it at a bar.
I'll buy a Travis Hunter jersey.
Travis Hunter
Yeah.
is the best player in college football.
4-1 versus 4-1 in the. Kansas State's off a bye too. All right, both teams well rested. 4-1 going for the Big 12 title.
Winner that.
Let's not
controls
forget,
some
Iowa
destiny.
State is undefeated in the Big 12.
Yes, I have a ticket. to win the Big 12.
BYU
So
is in the
I
Big
do
12.
not forget.
BYU,
back.
good team. Colorado, though, still in control of their own destiny.
Sorry, Dookie, quickly. Matt Sluka, UNLV QB who quit on his team. I don't care what the reasons were he left, but they are so much better without you, and they just absolutely dusted Fresno State. So that's tough to leave your team and they get better.
Would UNLV beat Michigan on a neutral field?
Potentially.
Stupid to say.
Probably. They have a good chance. They're ranked as well.
They handled Fresno.
Handled Fresno. I'm going to rapid fire for the NFL ones because we never get them love. Young Wei Koo, we mentioned. Big kick for him. He's a pookie. You make a 58-yarder at the buzzer. The Vikings, I put them on here every week. They keep winning football games that I don't think they're going to win. It's nuts. I don't get it. Are they going to go undefeated? What's happening?
No.
No, I know. But it's like, I keep thinking they're going to lose. It's like, that's the week they lose. That's the week they lose. They beat the Texans, Niners, and Packers all in a row. And I know Jordan Love was banged up, but they dominated that game from the jump. And they almost gave it away, but they dominated it from the jump.
Pookie, Derrick Henry, still good at football. Gonna say that every week.
That run in him, but that's a pook.
Still
I went to bed
good.
right after that run because that's all I needed to see. I needed some alone time after that.
I'm surprised you haven't sent me a trade offer for Derrick Henry because no one loves him more.
I do.
Can't afford him.
Trust me, that
Can't afford him.
that thought went right through my head Monday morning. I was like, how do I get Derrick Henry on my team? I was like, I just don't have anything to offer.
I tried to give him away the first 2 weeks. Anybody that would listen.
You didn't
one would take
offer me
him.
a trade for him.
I knew you would take it.
Amon Ra for Derrick Henry straight up.
No.
Yeah, I don't think I can.
Who says no?
I do.
You both say no.
I don't think I can.
You guys are both saying no to that. Well, it's crazy.
Lamar threw a touchdown pass last game, Crane. I can't get rid of him.
We'll get to it, believe me. Dookies, the Browns, again, continue to suck. Baker doing good things.
Browns.
Joe Flacco winning games for the Colts. And they're sitting Jameis. They're disgusting. Jaguars, 0-4 team, and they paid their quarterback everything in the world. That's disgusting place to be.
Brian Thomas
lastly,
Jr., though. Good player.
The Eagles, probably the worst feeling 2-2 team in the NFL. They just seem like they suck, but they're still 2-2. But I think every single fan there is miserable.
I got
They
one
didn't
last
have
Dookie.
A.J. Brown or Devontae Smith, Grant. Come on.
I got one
I know,
last
but
Dookie.
they hate their coach and he makes stupid decisions. Dookie Evan.
My one last Dookie. I'm getting a Dookie out in front of this because it's
a pre-Dookie.
It's pre-Dookie.
It's like a colonoscopy. You're prepping.
So you don't know if you can trust a fart or yet not. So I am getting out in front of this for everybody that's getting fired, and then everybody is going to have Bill Belichick and Nick Saban on their
Nick
coaching.
Saban's not going to be on the list. He's
And
not
Mike
going.
Vrabel. Let's put some respect on his name.
He's on the
And
Browns.
Urban Meyer.
It's already going to be annoying.
Why does that annoy you?
Just hypothetically putting people in places that they'll never go.
Bill Belichick is the next coach of the Dallas Cowboys. I'll get reckless.
Yeah, I 100% agree with Grant on that.
Why
will
do
not be
you
in
get
Jacksonville.
annoyed when people speculate on things like who's going to be the next coach?
It's because
This-
realistically, these
Just like you hate anybody that gets media attention. It's just
Yeah,
not
it's
really
No,
fair.
it's a coach's fraternity. Evan doesn't want people talking about his job as a middle school coach. He doesn't like
Yes.
talking about grown men's jobs in the NFL.
correct. And also, like Nick Saban's not going to go to the Jaguars. I'm sorry,
No, he loves Pat McAfee too much.
he does.
He's-
Who wouldn't love
it's
Pat
growing on
McAfee?
him.
But in a sick, twisted, competitive way, what if Nick Saban says, I need to prove I'm better than Urban Meyer. I'm going to Jags. They are sickos like that. They are. We laugh, but they are sickos.
Evan just said he doesn't want to speculate.
We won't. It's October, but Evan's right. That's it. That's going to be his dookie. Michigan State, or the Lions? Where do we want to go?
Michigan.
You want to start with Michigan? Okay. I rewatched some of the game on faster speed because I needed to have my bearings about what actually happened in this game. I really thought once it was like 21-3, 24-3 that we were in the clear. Team was actually looking good. I said, all right, they're playing around Orgy. He's actually completing some passes. Loveland's back, playing good defense without 3 NFL players. This is good. And then they almost lost because thankfully the refs missed it offside or called a fake offside on an onside kick because there's a real world here where they recover that and they score a touchdown. And we were talking about.
They did recover that.
They did recover it legally.
But yeah, I'm saying like it stands and they end up winning the game. Now there is some debate. Whether or not a Minnesota player touched it before 10 yards, but that would have been hard to overturn and they did not call that on the field. So I don't know what have
We
actually.
don't need disputable video evidence anymore. We saw it on Friday night.
Long story short, you should never be up 24-3 to Minnesota and be in that situation. I do have notes on this game, but I've talked a lot in Pookies and Dookies, so I'll open up to the listener radio callers here. Do you guys have any questions about the Skunk Bears surviving another 27-24 nail biter?
Adjustments in the second half, and I don't think the 24-3 at halftime was that impressive due to, I think you guys had a block punt, correct?
It was a beautiful block punt. It was
Okay,
great.
that
I
block
wrote
punt's not
special
gonna
teams are back.
That's not going to happen every single week. I believe Minnesota had an interception.
They threw a pick, and we ripped a ball out of their hands inside our own red zone.
There we go. So I think it's a common theme. The score doesn't look like it is on the field. Correct. But I'm saying there's a translation between the Michigan first half and the Michigan State first half. Just somebody's on the good side, somebody's on the bad side.
I saw a graphic this week. Interesting graphic. It was like,
how bad did we get beat?
No.
I actually have a question.
I love those graphics by Parker Fleming. When Michigan was winning their title runs, they would just dust people. Now we're like at the point where Minnesota basically won the game, but we somehow won the game.
That graphic. Yeah, that was it.
Yeah, how bad did we get beat?
It was like, is that what it's called?
It's called How Bad Did We Get Beat? And
it's like a really good graphic. Minnesota should have won that game based on that graphic.
Correct.
Which I just thought was interesting.
Yeah, they're great. It's like it's some advanced stat
really
like EPA per play net success rate or something, and the guy does all this. I'll pull it up right here. I have it right here.
Yeah,
I love this guy.
It's a great chart.
I always look at it and I like make note of like, oh, like that game was lopsided. It kind of just takes out like, did we really get beat that bad? Net success rate in week 5.
Michigan State, Oregon. Ohio State wasn't that bad. It's right here.
It's not popped up for you, Evan.
Oh, I can
It
see
is,
it.
but it's way on the left. It's not going to the big screen.
Oh,
you're gonna have to just get close. Michigan's all the way there on the left.
Teams. How do I zoom in?
There it is. Michigan's right there. Put your mouse on it.
Mine's not on it.
It's grand zoomed in. I can see it.
I can't see.
What are
right
you
there,
looking
Minnesota's ahead of Michigan.
Dude, Evan, what are you looking at?
Dude,
look at that.
I don't think you understand what my point of view is.
I don't.
I have a black screen. I'm up in the top right. You are on the left. Grant is on the left.
Let me try.
So the screen was black. That's what I was asking.
The main screen where everyone's faces are was black, and Grant's like sharing the screen was over like where you were talking.
Can you see it now?
Oh, that is so much better. That is hot.
Rutgers frauds. Keep
Look at
note of
Auburn.
that.
Auburn should have beat Oklahoma by this too.
Yeah, did you watch that game?
He has no defense helping him.
We did throw a pick six.
Oh.
So there's Minnesota. And then you can see as it goes up, you can see teams that had better, and Alabama especially too, but Penn State kind of
Indiana was more
Illinois.
impressive than Ohio State based on this graphic.
We're not that far. We were right. Well, I mean, we're not that far off.
Yeah, we had a bad second half, but I mean, the game was over.
Bad first half.
I think there's an algorithm for like successful plays that don't really include like fluky plays like turnovers and stuff you can't always predict, and that's how he comes up with these. So
it's very telling. Alabama dominated against Georgia, but really won.
But yeah, to Alex's point, yeah, Minnesota played well. Not good enough.
It's the same old story for this football team, Grant. I'm going to tell it to you every single week.
Listener Evan, caller Evan.
Did Michigan complete a pass over 7 yards?
I think they did.
Think so.
I think one.
I don't think so.
My guess is one.
Because the prior week versus USC, they did not.
Oh, they definitely had one that was over 7, but I don't know about air yards, to your point about air yards. It might have been one that was like a dump and then run.
USC game, Orgy was 0 for 5 on passes attempts more than 7 yards.
Oh, he definitely had a 7-yard air pass. He actually, believe it or not, as a positive, he went through a 3 progression read in this game and hit the backside dig, which I did not think was possible for him to do.
I did see that was one play in between my busyness on Saturday. Like he had a rusher, he kind of just slid up.
Your bar scene busyness?
I was at the golf course at this point. He got pressured, slid away from the pressure, slid up, and then rolled out a little bit to the right and made a nice throw on the run. Like
he did.
While his head was still down the field, Joe Klatt was like on the field, like basically like after that.
Okay.
But I was like, that's better. That's progress.
Yeah, that play was stunning to see. I was like, wow, that was nice.
He still sucks.
The first drive overall, to go with some of my notes, first drive was a nice glimpse of what you would want the offense to be. They scripted it well. They got Loveland involved. They weren't just like run. So that was nice. Capped off with the Mullins 25-yard run. Defensive back Zeke Berry made a huge play, the one that he ripped it out of the guy's hands. Okay, I kind of went all around when I was watching the game, but on the broadcast they highlighted this. Alex, Evan's not allowed to answer this because he's super biased. Let's just Pookie or Dookie this. PJ Fleck has a tradition with his team where they scoop up a cup of turf from their home field and they dump it on the opposing team's turf before the game to make themselves at home and turn that into their building. Pookie or Dookie, that tradition. They showed a cutaway.
Yeah,
and I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, if Mel Tucker did that and we were in the full I think Mel Tucker's the guy, I would have been like, that's sick. Now that I have had a chance to sit back and realize how stupid some of this stuff is, yeah, that is a diarrhea dookie. That's gross. You don't need to do that. That's very lame.
Sorry, Evan. I know you'd be biased. I can't.
Evan, your middle school team should do that.
You should do that.
It's a little cheesy.
You should do that.
They
all got in a circle, and they the guys in the
how many
circle.
cups are there? Is there just one cup?
Just one. He dumped it, and they all
Two
girls,
3 of them. One cup.
Oh.
It gets worse though. 3 of them spit on it. They dumped it.
Oh my god! You're joking.
Are we still talking about the same thing? I think we're talking about Alex's video.
Three guys, 1 cup.
3 Gophers.
3 go. Well, how many team players on the roster these days? 100 Gophers, 1 cup.
Couple spits and they all kicked it in with their shoes. It was hilarious.
2 spits, 1 cup.
Other positive, my guy that got picked out in the Texas game, Jair Hill. Good
Dude,
recruit.
you talk about him every week.
Nice pick. He had a tackle for loss on a screenplay. Had a really nice pick out.
He's ass, bro.
He's not ass. He's not. You just wanted to say that. He's not. He's
okay.
actually turned into a good player.
He's Terry Arnold. Hold every 5 seconds.
Guy who's not, it's not debatable, Zavada, another 53-yarder in the rain. We would be way worse without Zavada as our kicker.
Did he miss one?
No. Not that I saw. Not that I know of. The game really changed, though, for the worst and became a game.
Punt. Return.
Let me paint you the situation.
Fumble. Did you fumble?
No. 4 minutes left in the third quarter.
The time.
Okay. 4 minutes left in the third quarter. It's 24-3 Michigan. Michigan's ball. Driving. They have a wide open touchdown pass to Donovan Edwards on a beautifully designed wheel route. Unfortunately, Alex Orji tried to hit Colston Loveland up the seam and led him into a safety who spun around, who saw it. And he won that battle and he picked it off. And then everything went downhill from there. We got a 4th and 11 hands to the face penalty on Mason Graham that was very soft, and he was also being held on. Again, no excuses, but you can't make those stupid penalties to give up a 4th and 11. And then you get stuffed on a 3rd and 1 in your own backfield, well behind the line of scrimmage with Mullins, which was a terrible blocking play, and they stack the box. And then, to your point, Alex, you punt, and they had the 60-yard punt return. You look up, it's 24-17 with 11 minutes left. What is that? 8 minutes of gameplay went by. You're like, oh my God, we might lose because if we just can't get anything going on offense, we get 3 and outs and just keep giving them the ball back. You're asking your defense to do a lot. Some of the things that pissed me off, well, really one.
Don't say that word.
Pissed off. Would never happen under Harbaugh. Reasons to actually sit there and be like, is this coaching staff? We're thinking in the moment, game by game, but you're also thinking long term. Snapping the ball with 10 seconds left.
Clock management was atrocious.
You're up 7. You're snapping the ball with 10 seconds left on a play clock, sub 5 minutes during a drive. Why would you ever do that? You would never snap the ball with 10 seconds left continuously. As Joe Klatt, as much as he loves the maize and blue, he's like, guys, we're trying to win.
Ripping him about the time management.
Why are we snapping the ball? Wait till there's 5 seconds, 3 seconds. What are we doing?
Guys, every job interview I've ever had, I always highlight my time management ability. I mean, come on. Come on.
But yeah, perimeter blocking by the wide receivers is normally good, a little sloppy with some holds. You can't have those in this offense. And Minnesota going up tempo, which could be a sign of things to come for the Washington game. Going up tempo against Michigan's defense seemed to give them fits.
As long as you get Mason Graham off the field. And then
that's what makes it tricky.
That's what Joel tells me.
the sub packages is
Joel
is,
tells me
tough
you
for them
get
to work
those
through.
2 D tackles off the field, then you just go, and you can score with ease.
He's not wrong.
Yeah, that's what he said. He said
not
it during the Texas game too.
It's not what he said. It's how he said
It's
it.
how he's
and
saying it.
It's golden.
We've listened to a lot of Big Noon Kickoff, for better or worse, in our life.
It's annoying how often.
There's no way you guys watch
tell me
Big
that
Noon
was the best
Kickoff.
game for Big Noon.
I mean,
watch the
it ended
show.
up being
Well, I think
kind of
this
close.
week's not any better, Alex.
It's put the Hoosiers on Big Noon.
Shut the
Any
Just so I can watch
other
them get
thought?
bleep.
Oh, I love saying that.
Thoughts on this game,
Yeah.
or should we
I have some thoughts
preview
on
Washington
Michigan.
at all?
Yeah, my
Okay.
thoughts are the same as they always are. This team is gross. They have to win games in gross, disgusting ways. And I thought they would be better at holding a lead. They're clearly not. And the key to success for teams playing Michigan is they have to score first, but somehow Michigan keeps scoring first, and so they keep winning.
First halves have been dream scenarios for
You
that way they
just
want to
have
play.
to jump on Michigan in the first half, and you'll probably win because the
Alex,
offense will
let's
fall
fast
apart in the
forward.
second
October
half.
26th, 7:30.
Is that our game?
NBC?
You guys are looking too far ahead.
Michigan
It's
State
the
versus
only
Michigan.
game that matters when you play a bunch of good teams in a row.
Johnny
It gets
Smith,
dark.
coin flip, boom,
Take the
won
ball.
the toss. You're
Child's
taking the ball.
Tutty. Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Nick Marsh, Will Johnson, Moss.
I think you. Well, that's what I was going to say even about
Any
Washington.
team that plays Michigan should take the ball.
And vice versa.
Washington's not very
Michigan
good.
should take the ball.
Yes,
because if
Michigan
you give it to
should take
them,
the
it's
ball.
like both teams should take the ball in that game.
Now, realistically, you probably have in your October 26th scenario, we would probably take the ball, go 3-and-out, and then they would score, and it would be
Oh.
a disaster.
No, we'd have a long third down. We'd get one first down and then punt after that.
And as long as you flip the field position on Michigan.
What I think the question everyone's wondering is like how long can this last? This little pumpkin ride of this, like it feels like it has to end.
It
could
can't
be this
last.
week.
I think
I'm
it's-
prepared for it to potentially
it's
happen.
gotta end,
Washington's
dude.
not good.
I've come around on that, Evan. I think they are actually better than
I think they're
Their
better
record
than
Didn't they
indicates.
lose to Rutgers?
They played
by
way
3.
better than Rutgers.
Well,
Squirrels.
Rutgers.
on that chart. On that chart, we saw it. They
Their
should not.
kicker could not make a field goal to save his life. Also, that kick, no offense to that kid, but his face really fills out a football helmet. It's tough. It's tough. Like his lips were on the face mask. It's like, dude,
This is tough.
not the helmet doesn't fit you.
I don't think Washington has enough defense to stop this.
Well, here's the thing that was perplexing to me. Let's get into that game now. It's away at Washington.
What time?
7:30 p.m.
late.
Eastern kick, but that's 4:30 local. So a 4:30
That's early
local
for them.
kick, NBC prime time.
Cock?
Washington, no, NBC
Oh, lucky you.
national.
President's Cup's not
NB
going on.
Washington, believe it or not, some people online were surprised. I was not. Washington is a 2.5 point favorite in this game. They are favorites. So when people say upset on ESPN, if it happens,
Well, that's
so
because
it's not upset,
basement bottom feeders are putting numbers by schools'
Numbers.
names, remember.
right?
Those aren't real.
Over under 41.5, which is an implied total of Washington 22, Michigan 19. Is your implied total here?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what Minnesota was doing, especially towards the end of the game. They kept having their safeties in normal positions, but if you were a defensive coordinator for Washington, would you ever have your safeties
Joel
more than
talked about this, too.
5 to 7 yards off the ball?
No, sir.
2 safeties?
told me no
One
way.
safety? Yes.
I don't even know if you need to with one though, Evan. I until you get beat deep, and 7 points is not in college football. 7 points is not a death sentence. I would honestly dare them,
Yeah,
engage eight.
I'm like,
until they make a 50-yard touchdown pass. I don't see how you don't do that.
yeah, I'm that every play if I'm DC.
I might let them score 14 points that way.
Like
prove it
Minnesota
twice.
was so far off the ball, and then Michigan would just run for 6-7 yards. I'm like, why? Why would you be afraid that they're going to throw it? They're not going to.
I don't think it was more their safeties issues. I think it was their alignment for 2x2. They had their outside linebackers so far out. I don't agree with that alignment more than the safeties alignment.
Dude, I'm bringing my safeties down. I'm having 5 linebackers, basically.
I was just thinking the same. I think I would have 4 down linemen, 4 linebackers, 2 linebackers, 2 safeties, Just everyone else play man. And if you throw 2 touchdown passes on me, I'll get out of it and just see what happens. It's stupid and it's crazy, but like they haven't, to your point, Evan, about completions. In the Minnesota game, I don't think they threw a ball more than 8 yards downfield. I really don't.
Michigan State is going to do that against Michigan. I fully believe that until they beat it.
And when Minnesota did do it on that 3rd and 1, it worked. They stuffed them. I just don't.
Michigan State was running man against Ohio State.
Yeah, that's what I mean. We're going to do it against Michigan.
Jesus Christ.
I don't know.
For this game, I mean, Will Rogers, I think, is better than we all.
I think he's good.
People talk about him. Like, I think everyone's like, oh, Will Rogers, whatever. Mississippi State. I don't think he's bad. I think he's solid.
Good.
Looking back at the results, Washington State, they lost to, but Washington State's not bad. So I don't know. I think this is a game, especially off a loss to Rutgers, where they really need to get something here. And it makes me very nervous. The spot they're in first, as we joke about, first time leaving Ann Arbor for the season in October.
They also had to go short week across the country to Piscataway. You just don't go there and come out alive.
In the blackout uniforms.
No.
And Rutgers actually had fans there.
Oh. Yeah. And to be honest, which surprised me about that game, Washington rushed for more yards than Rutgers did, which I would not have thought with Monangai in the backfield. They did go 184 on the ground, which is going to be the success for Michigan. You got to run for 250 in this game, which is crazy to say, but you just have to win the way they want to play. I don't feel great about it.
Washington's best receiver, though, is Giles Jackson. He's ass.
He's still in college?
He's like the only receiver they have. It's okay.
Yeah, but like
all their receivers are in the NFL.
Probably still a better wide receiver room than Michigan's.
Yeah, probably. Giles Jackson.
Isn't it
start on
crazy?
Michigan.
You're going to see a lot of buzz around the week. Oh, the national title rematch. This could not be further from the truth.
Yeah. I almost forgot that was the national title because these teams are just not the same.
It's just not even close.
They were probably really excited about having this game, and then they're like, oh, this is grody.
It is gross. I'm going to stick to it, though, until it burns me. I want people to know deep down I can easily see this being a loss for Michigan, but I'm going to go 21-20 Michigan.
Dude, that was my score. I have it written down.
Oh!
That sucks.
Yeah, I'll go 21-20 Michigan.
Oh, you're going to stick with us, too?
23.
24-23.
23.
He wants to say 19, but he's thinking about how to get there.
No, I know how to get to 19. That's easy.
Evan says the most random numbers every time.
Come on. Nope, I'm going 25-18 Michigan.
Really?
Yucky.
That's the kiss of death from Evan's confidence.
All right, Michigan. 3 votes for Michigan. They lost for sure.
100%. It's going downhill. And this is so huge, too, because they're going into a bye week. Injury report, though, I do think Will Johnson, Josiah Stewart will be back, which is huge. So I think they'll be fully healthy on defense.
How do you have any information about injuries in college football?
The Monday press conference of Strong or him saying that they'll be good to go this week.
Oh, yeah, that's pretty
good source.
Good source.
Yeah. He's so far he's been way different than Harbaugh again about just transparency and injuries.
Yeah, Johnny's a little too transparent for us. He's like, "Yep, guys, done for the year." Okay, thanks, John.
It's like no nonsense, whatever. All right,
to Eugene.
First, East Lansing, your guys' grass looks so beautiful at night.
Number one turf match in the country,
and it shows. It really does. Final was 38-7. My questions as a listener, a radio caller, we all predicted it to be a blowout, I guess. My curiosity, like, it's one thing to say it midweek, like, yeah, I think we're going to lose by a lot. But, like, when you guys left the game, was like, well, like, lost to Ohio State by a lot of points again? Or, like, does it still sting? Or was there any, like, moral victories from this game? Or is it just, like, I'm just so tired of losing this game every year by this many points?
There's no moral victories, but the game was significantly different than, like, the games we've watched recently in the past years. Like, those games were like the game started and then the game was over like 11 seconds into the football game. Like, you knew clearly you had 0% chance. This game, we were not going 3 and out in the first half. We were driving the ball down the field. We did the same script we've done all year is where we just turn the ball over the red zone 3 times. Yeah, I mean, you turn the ball over on 4th and 1 in the red zone, then you fumble in the red zone, and then you fumble on a face mask, bad call, no excuses, but terrible no call, fumble, and that's 3 red zone turnovers. I mean, that's, and when you think about it, if you convert on some of those, you could be leading or tied at halftime. Obviously, I don't think you're going to be good enough to go toe-to-toe with them for 4 quarters. They have way too much talent. You're obviously in year 1 of a rebuild. It's just not expected to happen. But I think at least the only positive would be we have a competent coaching staff who can at least scheme and plan for a big game to make it not look like we're the worst team in the world. Thanks, Mel. And we had some players that, played pretty well. We didn't look completely overmatched in that game, where I watched a 11-win Michigan State team look like Evan's 7th graders against the Kansas City Chiefs. That's how that the Kenneth Walker Michigan State team looked against Ohio State. So
it's
I think
crazy that team looked as bad as they did. It's nuts.
I mean, that was the worst football game I ever watched.
Yeah.
It was a touchdown every play, and then we went 3
it got
and out
brought
every
up,
play.
I think in the group chat, we were like, when's the last time or whatever you felt like you could be competitive? And someone said, I think like you said 2016. I was like, well, the answer should be 2021 going into the game. It was like the top 15 matchup like at the time or whatever it was.
Yeah. So there's positives. We didn't look like shit. We just turned the ball over, which and fans are upset about, which they should be, because yes, it needs to be cleaned up. But at least we beat ourselves more than they just shoved it down our throat. They also have a crazy wide receiver that is not guardable.
Evan, did you see it? How'd you feel coming out of it?
The same way. I was frustrated with execution, but I wasn't frustrated with. I thought Giles played pretty well. He had 1 bad interception throw. I don't know.
Really good first half,
but very good first half. I mean, you look at the drives that we had: 55 yards, 64 yards. 12 yards, just because we had an interception, 1 play, 12 yards, touchdown, and then 59 yards. And after 4 of those drives of basically all of our entire yards in the entire game, because after that it just goes downhill,
you can almost throw
had 7 points to account for. And on top of that, we dropped an interception in the end zone to take 7 points away from Ohio State.
Yeah, easily could have been leading at half.
Yeah,
Which is crazy.
It could have been easy if you just. So they have 24. It's 24-7 at halftime. I'm saying if you just -7 from them, have an interception, or you just give them 3 points or whatever. So it's 21-7. Okay, we kick field goals on the other 3 possessions that we had. Actually, don't go for it on 4th when I was screaming we should kick a field goal.
I did want the points
so 9
there.
points. So
advocate for that.
17-16 at halftime, and everybody's saying something totally different at halftime. And plus, we got the ball back at the start of the second half.
Not to mention
we didn't do
face
anything
mask
with it,
fumble.
but
The face mask fumble, we could have just ran the clock down pretty low, and the second half could have been almost over after that drive, where they would have had. They ended up getting the ball back and then scored.
There was 3 minutes. 3 minutes left in the half.
Yeah, we could have started to clock manage a bit and run it down.
Well, they still got 6 plays off in 44 seconds.
Yeah, well, it helps when you have that freshman.
I meant to watch the first couple drives because I missed that, so I'm probably missing the parts that gave you guys hope. Obviously, was the 4th and 1 stuff by Childs without a QB sneak on the first drive?
He pushed that went horribly, horribly wrong.
He tried to go high. I don't know why. He should have got low, and then he just got.
I think it was just bad coaching on that play.
I don't hate the call of doing a QB sneak, but it just following your best offensive lineman doesn't seem like the worst idea.
All your offensive linemen went low, Grant, and the defensive lineman would just let the offensive lineman go low, and then he just went.
They just stood up and and
ran
into them
and hugged him.
Yeah, it was not very close.
What about just because we think about them a lot, or at least I do, comparing myself to them. Not as much this year because I'm so worried about Michigan. You leave thinking good about Ohio State, impressed by Ohio State still.
They have every weapon, they can throw out any play that they want, and it probably will work.
The first drive, I was like, not sure how many teams can beat them. They have
they stalled out.
Every weapon is absurd. They can dink and dunk people down the field all the way, no problem. They didn't even have to hand the ball off. They could just dink and dunk their whole way down. The only thing I would have a question about is, and I was not going to like it, but
Will Howard,
I don't know. I mean, he had a terrible interception. Not sure what he was looking at. It was a gift to us, turned into 7 points. He's the only one that's not the flashy toy again.
Well, he didn't even throw one of the touchdowns because he got hurt.
Should have had a second pick too.
We rocked him. Will Howard came off injured. Devin Brown comes in. It's 3rd down in the red zone. Big play. All right, Devin Brown backups in. They have to run the ball. They're going to kick a field goal. Nope. What do they do? Man, Jeremiah Smith, corner of the end zone.
I mean, you could have thrown that ball.
Number 33, Devin Brown comes in and just throws it up.
Freaking one-handed.
There's definitely
I texted our
one-handed grab before.
And I said, today we had nothing to do with scheme or anything, X's and O's. It was 100% just the Jimmys and Joes on the field.
Jimmys and Joes.
Can't guard that guy. Will Howard is not that great, though. That's my observation.
Right, but I think their offense doesn't...
They don't need him.
When I always think about the Michigan-Ohio State game in the last few years, it's completely different this year again because Michigan's offense is so much worse. But it's always been how good is that defense? You did seem like you could move the ball okay. So do you think maybe...
I didn't think their defense was impressive at all besides one player.
We still have to figure out when they play bigger competition like Oregon and Penn State even, how good that defense holds. That's the biggest thing for me because I know their offense is going to be good, but if their defense can rise to that level, then they're really scary to me because then they can hold those big teams to less than 10 points. And so far they haven't played, I'm not saying you guys are nobody, but they haven't played the peak of the competition yet. And their defense on paper, on box score watching, has given up 6-0, 14, and 7. So they look really good. I just want to find out.
I mean, your answer, Grant, is that Michigan State should have had 21 points in the first half.
Which would have made me feel
a real scenario where if Michigan State doesn't continue to shoot themselves right in the middle of right there, they would have a bunch of points. Once the second half started, you could tell no one cared. The game was over. So I would almost throw it out. I mean, we put in the backups at one point.
So, I mean, after your first 2 drives, you should have had a minimum of 6 points with saying
minimum,
most conservative way. If you're just taking the field goal and not fumbled, you get 6. Your touchdown was off an interception, so there is some turnover luck there.
Good defense play. Great play. It wasn't going to get picked by Brantley or
it was double coverage. It was one of the worst throw decisions I've ever seen.
Was picking that ball off. And we also dropped an interception in our own in there. So.
But you had a minimum of 3 scoring drives that should have been points.
Should have been 9 points plus our turnover touchdown.
I'm saying should have been 17-16.
Could have had 16 easy points. And then you would have had to take one off the board if Malik Spencer could hold on to a football.
I already took one off the board. It was 24-7 at halftime. So I took one off the board.
Yeah, 17-16.
Even if you're giving them a field goal.
With the ball coming out of half.
2016 with the ball. Kick another field goal. 2019, they have the ball down 1 possession.
There's a real chance that game would go into the late third in an actual football game. And it should have.
I felt our offense did pretty well.
Ran the
there was
ball
a lot of great throws, out route throws, max protection, 2-3-man routes, deep out routes, deep comeback routes that were just on money.
Okay, so when you say that out loud about Michigan, I don't know if Michigan can do that. If you're wrong, we ran for we're not a good running team, and
our
we
first
ran for
play
4 yards a pop.
Nathan Carter busted off one for 40, 30 yards, and you're like, holy shit, we're in this.
Donovan Edwards in the Fiesta Bowl.
I think obviously we out of that formation, we clearly schemed it up.
You'd love outside zone. You'd love it.
We schemed something up where out of this formation, they're going to line up in this one little kick out block. You're going to get that play once, and we did on the first play.
We have a really good coaching staff. That is cool.
Your sack yards really dragged down your team rushing total because it's gross in the box.
4.5 yards a carry for both of our starting running backs.
Well, 3.9 for Adams and 4.5 for Carter. As a team, 1.9 was sack yards, but that's just how college football does stats.
That's not really how that works.
Because Childs was 6 for -9, which really drags things down.
Phantom face mask really upset me.
So we spin that into Eugene. Logistics. That's a 9 p.m. kick on.
This is a much harder game. let's just get in front of it.
Blowout.
Really? I might say
Short rest across the country. Friday night.
Isn't Oregon coming off a bye?
No. They played late.
They played UCLA.
Yeah.
They're coming off a bye.
Basically a bye.
That's mean to your Bruins. Oregon's 24-point favorites, over under 52.5. Implied score of Oregon 38, MSU 14.
On the road.
Here's my thoughts. Maybe I'll be the jolly-go-lucky,
We can
happy-go-lucky
compete
guy.
with them. There's no doubt.
I'm making a serious thought about betting Michigan State spread to cover, which I almost did today. I might buy it down to like 17.5 to get some plus behind it. Jonathan Smith knows Dan Lanning. He knows Oregon, so I love that. First of all, I love that.
Beat them before, actually.
Two, if you take away some of the turnover luck you guys are talking about,
We can't seem to take that away. That's what I was going to tell you.
but at some point it has to happen, right? It has to.
It will happen when we go to Ann Arbor.
Oregon, I think, on a neutral site, I would take Ohio State. So I'm factoring in a couple 3 to 5 points there. Now, don't get mad, Wyatt, if you're listening to Ryan. I still think Ohio State's, again, better, and Oregon might beat them when they play if it's at Oregon. But I'm right now, I would say Ohio State's looked better than Oregon. Alex and I stayed up for that Boise State game. I've seen Oregon
Barely
struggle.
beat Idaho.
I don't know. I think they can cover. I'm not talking crazy money line stuff, but I think this could be a game where it looks better for Michigan State.
I think Michigan State is good enough to compete with all the teams on their schedule. The problem is, we don't know how to not turn the ball over. And so when we get into 50-50 games, it's probably safe to say that we will lose the 50-50 games, even though we're going to compete for 3 quarters probably. So it's tough to pick us. I think Dylan Gabriel is better than Will Howard. Obviously, Oregon's weapons probably aren't as good, but I don't know. Our corners haven't really been super tested. Even on the plays Ohio State was completing, our guys were there. Ohio State just has really good wideouts. So we don't know what they can actually do. It's hard to tell. Depends. Is Oregon going to throw the ball 75 times? Just try to air it out on us? No idea what to expect. But there's a lot of factors that go against going out to the West Coast on a Friday on the road for your third road game. That helps that we've played on the road, but not in this type of environment. It's tough. It's a tough game.
I think I already see it. It's Oregon 37, Michigan State 20. They cover 17.5.
Oregon's offensive line, not great.
What'd you say, Evan?
31-16. Oregon.
Oh, even tighter.
They have
defense.
31-14. Probably a third 2 picks and another fumble.
We're -7, -7 difference, bad 7 in turnover ratio.
Yeah, and I think we drive the ball down again a bunch of times, and then we just because that's what we do. I mean, Jack Valling's fumble, he's running with the ball right here. I mean, he deserved to fumble.
You just got to know that somebody's coming from behind you.
It's terrible. I'm sure people were yelling, wrap the ball. People are coming.
Could you guys score 28 points in this game?
I don't know if we can score 28. We haven't scored 28 against a Power 5 school, but not in Maryland.
Yes, I think we could. But that would
get things interesting.
Maryland fourth quarter Childs where he's not turning the ball over. You would need him. Nick Marsh now fully healthy. He didn't practice all week last week, even though he played. That helps.
It's kind of crazy. I was shocked to see him out there, to be honest.
He really probably shouldn't have played, but he had 3 catches. So.
Had a very nice catch.
Really,
the goal should be no Tommy Schuster in the fourth. That it's that close that we're playing it out. That should be the goal.
I think this game goes. We get to halftime cleaned up this time. So Ohio State turnovers came early. This time we get to halftime cleaned up. Third quarter rears its ugly head. It's like the third quarter Dookie Lions of last year. And then by the start of the fourth, we're down 2 possessions. So it just feels over.
All right. Speaking of the Lions, good segue, Alex. They got a bye week this week, but they took care of business against the Seahawks in what I described as a must-win game for the morale of the team going into the bye week.
Monday night was so fun.
It's
So
weird
fun.
how much fun you were having, Evan.
I haven't talked about how much fun the NFL can be when the Lions are.
That game
doing
was fun. I'm not saying the NFL in whole, but that game was fun. I'm not a big fan of the black uniforms in the aspect of I want to see the Lions' traditional colors, alternate colors. Black just seems too easy for everybody. Does a black
It
uniform?
always looks good.
I'm not saying it doesn't look good. I just wish we had like some creative ability, like for an alternate uniform. I thought the helmets just popped. Uniforms, they're all right. However, Monday night, I could care less about Joe Buck and Troy Aikman. I think they're vastly overrated. But the product on the field is what the NFL should be every single week, and not a one possession for every single freaking quarter you get. People want points, and we want
flash.
I want them to move the ball. You don't have to hold on to it. You don't have to snap the ball in the first quarter with 1 second left on the play clock. Your audible play that you're going to go to isn't going to work. I'm sorry.
71 points, 7th point. It was an all-you-can-score buffet.
It had everything you wanted. Everything.
I could have used a little bit of more Lions defense. Would have been
No,
nice.
it was perfect.
We had a huge lead. They're just playing chuck it football. We have Brian Branch isn't playing.
Is the stat of them having
We have no
36
pass
first downs
rush
real?
once again. So
I saw a stat on Twitter that said they had 36 first downs. Is that an accurate stat?
that's probably right. I mean, Geno Smith almost threw the ball
36 first downs? Are you kidding me? In a football game?
Yes,
In an NFL football game?
They had
Yes.
38. 38.
Yeah.
Alex.
It's got to be a
We had
record.
21. We had
It's
21.
got to be a record. In a loss.
They almost ran 80 plays. That is like Al Romano high school shit. 80 plays in a football game?
Yes,
They
In
ran
an
50.
NFL game.
It was awesome.
They ran 78 plays.
It was
500,
awesome.
516 yards from the Seahawks, and they lost.
What was
DK
awesome was the
Metcalf
run.
ran over two people. Anzalone's holding on to him like it's flag football. He's holding on
Jack
to
Campbell
the belt.
did murder him.
And Jack Campbell said, "Watch this."
DK is sweet, dude.
DK
That guy's
Metcalf
was
just
so
a
good.
freak.
A grown
So
man
good.
out there, and then he fumbles, and everybody just like forgets how good he is.
Barely fumbled, too. It was so close to that knee being down.
K9's good.
Kirby
too. We
Joseph
knew that would
tackled Geno Smith, and they didn't call a hold on it. Remarkable.
Kirby Josephs may have had like a top 5 interception I've seen from a guy on a team I root for.
Not
That
talked
was
about enough.
that was a disgusting pick. That
Really
was
nice.
like I could think of Jordan Lewis from Michigan when he made that like one-handed
That
falling
was
down one was
naughty.
crazy.
Doesn't count as against a bad quarterback.
It was a big play. Kirby's is up there. He's like in that tier of like that was
14
a
to 7
nuts
in a
pick.
snooze fest of a football, Grant. You uncomparable.
It mattered. It mattered,
No.
Evan.
That game.
It was a nice pick. I'll give you that. I saw it in a deer blind.
But I mean, you could choose your own adventure of what play was coolest. You have the trick play, you have the JMO touchdown, you have the run by David Montgomery.
The run.
You have-
St. Brown
It's
throwing that
incredible.
touchdown. I stood up and screamed like a little girl in the
I
living
did
room.
too. I did too.
When he like put it up in the air, I was like, coverage kind of seems tight here. Like,
Yeah.
they're like in this.
I
like,
swear he
step by
didn't care
step.
who was over there. He just turned
He's
and
just
was like,
throwing.
chuck
He
it.
was so beautiful.
dropped
It was
it
like
in.
sky high.
Jared had no doubts about it. He was catching that ball.
Jared's Instagram post, I think he said hashtag late hands. He really did. He flashed his hands so late for the D-back, had no idea. It was just like, oop, I caught it.
It also helped that
It's
my
disgusting.
fantasy football team came back from like over 100
I'm
down
open.
on
Yeah,
Monday
that's
night.
That's why. You
Yeah,
loved it.
that's why you had fun. Yeah, let's cut.
I was
cut the
cheering for
shit.
Kenneth Walker, but also the Lions actually putting up
hard
points
for
and
me to cheer
offensive
against him.
performance. Fantastic.
I'm glad State fans get to be on the other side of him, just like keeping the team around. It's just like the worst possible thing.
Yeah, dude, he's
You're like,
sick.
God, you're like, I can't. No one can tackle this guy. Only on the outside though. He really does not run up the middle at all. He just runs to the
Outside
outside.
zone, baby.
Why do you need him to?
No, you don't. It's just crazy how it keeps working.
God, imagine if Donovan Edwards had Kenneth Walker's vision.
Yeah.
He'd be special.
The
Dawn.
Blake
JMO play the crossers with JMO. We need more
they're
crossers
so
with
hot.
JMO. More crossers.
They set it up because they had JMO clearing out
Dude,
for
he's so
Alana early
fast.
in the game.
I think it's
He started high
underrated.
stepping.
how
Have you ever
fast he
seen a
was.
player high step from the 25?
Deion
30
Sanders.
yards of high stepping.
Nick Marsh on October 26th will be doing that.
When are we due for him to like mess one of those up and we just hate him for like fumbling or getting
Can't
from
just say it out loud right now, Grant, and say that you won't hate him no matter what happens if he's high.
So his shoe will fall off. He'll chuck the ball
fumbles
backwards.
the football.
Something bad's gonna happen. He tests fate every time he scores.
JMO drops the
awesome,
football before
bro.
he gets in the end zone once. Touchdown.
That's
How pissed
happening.
will you be?
Jake Bates is gonna miss an extra point because of his 15-yard at some point. Like it's gonna happen. It's going to happen. He pushes the line, but it's awesome while it works.
God, he's so fast though.
He was celebrating for so long. He dunked it, then he was just sitting in the crowd for like an hour.
And it was like he scored. It's just already that he scored.
I did say touchdown out loud the minute he caught it.
I was already on my feet. I'm like, he's gonna go. This is that easy for him. He's that fast.
You probably started high stepping in your living room along with him. You're like, J-Mo.
No. Waymo.
It was just one of those games where it's getting to the point where I think we need to remember how bad our franchise used to be. We were incredibly spoiled that it just felt easy. Again, the Seahawks wouldn't go away. But even when we got the safety, I was like, doesn't matter really. Like we won.
It didn't even care. It didn't.
I
know
didn't
it's
care that
stupid,
much. I was
but
like, God, that's stupid that we actually had that happen to us. But I was like, no, we
I was a little mad that we were dialing up a deep shot with a 2-possession lead at the 2-minute warning. And I get why they said because it's a free play.
Alex, I need you to do me a favor, please.
Didn't need to do that.
Can you do me a favor?
Yeah.
Do you have the ESPN app?
No, I don't support ESPN after what they did to my university.
10 years ago, get over it.
Nah, it's called a boycott, Evan. Tigers boycott it.
Grant, do you have the ESPN app?
I don't know if I do either. I use the Score app a lot.
What?
It's stuff that the two. Wait, I think I have it here.
What do you want?
Yeah, okay. I have it.
Okay, go to the
Have their
Lions
website.
Seahawks. Nope, go to the Lions Seahawks game.
Okay. Lions.
Box score.
Don't. This is going to be like some sort of stat.
Scroll down. Detroit defense.
Ivan, I could have done this on any app. It didn't have to be it.
No, it had to be on the ESPN app. That way,
I don't even have my
it's the
phone
same.
in here,
That's
though.
why I know it's the same.
Okay, one
We're
sec.
looking at the same exact thing. Lions, please. Lions Seahawks.
Got it.
Lions Seahawks.
Box score.
Box score.
I score.
Scroll down.
Lions
till we get
side
to
defense.
Detroit defense.
Yes.
Bottom.
Pressures. Tackles.
Bottom.
Jimmy
0,
Hutchinson
0,
tackles.
0, 0.
3
Zero
QB hits
total
though.
tackles. 0 solo. 0 sacks. 0 tackles for loss.
3 QB hits though.
Alex,
Evan,
did you
you're
name who
posting
that
on
player was?
Instagram? Yes, it was Aiden Hutchinson, if I had to guess.
Okay.
Okay. Anyways.
I'm
next
just holding him
conversation.
accountable. If we're going to hold him accountable for his best games, we got to hold him accountable for his bad games. That's all I'm doing.
Sure. Defense did not play great in general throughout the game.
I'm just I need a couple more tomato can, not mobile QBs for us to play so we can start getting some of these sacks because Gino guy's pretty old, but he played a really nice game and he kept getting out of them. And I was like, God damn it.
Gino does throw a really nice football.
That's not good. Dak's going to move around a little bit. Although Hutch has had a 3-sack game against Dak.
Here we
before.
go.
That was pretty good.
Sam Darnold can't run, so that should be some sacks.
Yeah,
Sam
but
Darnold
Levis.
has wheels, dude.
the
You kidding me?
Vikings to lead the league in sacks, though.
Jacksonville. All right, we play a lot of mobile-ish quarterbacks, so it's gonna
Yeah,
be
because
tough.
it's
I
a
want him to
mobile
get the sack
league.
record
We're like
so
the only
bad. I want-
team with a non-mobile quarterback.
or rookie quarterbacks, young quarterbacks that don't have pocket presence. Like if we get to play Will Levis against the Titans, that should be a 3-sack day,
Caleb Williams twice, Grant. How about that?
and that should be a 2-sack day. He's
Jordan
elusive
Love
though.
with one knee. How about that?
That's a 2-sack day if he's got one knee.
Well, he had 0 against the Seahawks.
Yeah, he still got the lead by a half. He's
By
holding off
half.
Kyle
Kyle
Van Noy. Yeah,
and some Turner dude. Is it Dallas
I
Turner?
bookmarked
Did he change
that,
his name?
DJ Turner.
DJ.
Wasn't his name
don't know.
Dallas?
Dallas is the guy for the Vikings. That's a rookie from Alabama.
Oh, there's
If
a
that's who that
Vikings
is.
guy that is third in
Dallas
sacks.
Turner.
And that's Dallas Turner.
Don't know if it's
From
Dallas
Alabama,
or
then.
not, though.
There can't be 2 D
Nah,
Turners
there's
on
not.
the
There could
Vikings.
Two.
There
There
definitely
can't
could
be.
Can we talk about the penalties in the defensive backfield? Is that ever going to get cleaned up, or should we just prepare for any time
I've
a ball's
mentally
thrown?
accepted it.
Not
Yeah.
Turner, it's something Jones, Perry Jones, Pat Jones, Perry Ellis.
Oh, no, Patrick Jones. He's a dog.
ESPN has him as Pat Jones the second.
Yeah, that's true. He's a second. Yeah, we just gotta hope that in our big games we get crews that aren't ticky tacky because I don't think it's gonna go away.
I feel like Carlton Davis plays pretty well. It's just he gets a lot of penalties too. You know.
Here's my mindset for this.
We're
You
aggressive.
can't have it both ways. Taylor Arnold, rookie. Okay, give up the. I don't give a shit about the flags. I still think it's stupid that it's a spot foul. Because you
sometimes it's nice, not often, but sometimes it's like, oh, it's only like 10 yards instead of 15 in college.
Look, it means he's getting physical. It means he's not giving up touchdowns. If a flag here and there, is he going to have a flag
here
that's
and
going
there?
to cost
That's
him?
the problem. It is a lot.
Okay, a lot as in how many has he had this year?
I think he has the most in the league.
How many is that? Give me a number.
8.
Penalties 2024.
6 to 8, I would guess, in 4 games.
Okay, let me ask you this. How many penalties do you have against the Seahawks?
8 times this year.
2
8
a
times
game.
this year.
Okay, so how many times did it happen against the Seahawks? Let me ask you that.
2. I don't know.
I don't know.
Carlton Davis had a
2
few.
or 3.
Okay, fine. Okay.
6 between the two of them in that game.
Okay,
probably.
so if he had 2 that game,
yeah,
I'm just talking about Arnold. Carlton Davis is a physical, and he almost wanted to kill a ref on the field.
I thought he was going to. Oh my
2
God.
out of Grant said they ran 78 plays. So we're gonna hate a guy.
I know. I don't hate
2
the guy.
of the
I think he's
78
good.
plays.
I think he's a good player.
Well, they ran the ball sometimes. Okay, we're gonna hate a guy for having 2 out of the.
I didn't say I hated the guy. Why do you keep saying
we're gonna ridicule the rookie for playing hard and playing physical for 2 out of the 50-some pass plays?
I think it's okay to ask, will it get cleaned up? Because
I think it will.
If it's a trend.
It's just knowing where you can get away with right now. Oh, okay, but let's also not put into a factor of who he's had to guard and the teams he's had to guard so far.
For sure. I think overall he's doing a decent job. Obviously, you would like to get penalties cleaned up at some point. That, in a playoff game, those penalties are going to hurt.
I think it's going to be. I think he's going to have a lot easier time versus Dallas. I don't think he's going to have to follow CeeDee Lamb around too much. I think Davis is going to be on him. That's going to get cleaned up. That's going to be easy.
I guess it's more overall as a team, though. Like through 4 weeks, we do lead the NFL
penalties.
in pass
but
interferences.
This is what I'm also going to call. They show the stats on Monday Night Football. We are the 3rd highest in percentage of playing man. You play man more often, you're going to get called for more than if you're playing in a soft zone, just because you're near guys more often.
I understand why we're getting the penalties. The problem is, in a playoff game, we see the Chiefs get bailed out. So, sometimes on the podcast, Cody hates the Chiefs, thinks they always get every call. They've won some questionable games on pass interference calls.
It's a pass
interference. I don't want to be on the end of that in the playoffs. And when you're the team that has the most pass interferences throughout the year, which we might not. We just
October 2nd. We still got plenty of time before the playoffs and meaningful football.
Are we going to clean it up? Or should I just expect this is going to happen all year? Because I think it will bite our ass in a large moment at one point or another.
I don't think we'll ever have a game where it's completely clean. We don't have any pass interference calls. I'm just going to say that because just our mindset from our corners and how physical we are, no matter who the person is across from us.
Having a highly penalized team is not fun.
It's just, if you're going to do DPI, do it on first or second down. I can't have DPIs on third down when I think we're off the field.
Correct.
If you can do DPI on first down.
Not to mention the DPI we got last year in the NFC divisional round that they didn't call.
How many pass breakups do they have?
It's a good question.
0.
It also, it's going to be an outlier. Again, it is a problem because we do lead the league in pass interference.
Definitely
I don't know that they don't have, I can't combine them all, but we probably are the most penalized secondary in the league based on those numbers as well. Again, we did just play a quarterback that threw 56 times. So he did put a lot of reps on our guys. So
we stopped the
run. That point.
So people just throw the ball.
We're the best run defense. So to be fair, glass half full. They are getting a lot of reps in now.
We're not facing talented wide receivers against the Seahawks.
But there's talented receivers on every team. Most teams.
At least one.
In our division.
Okay, I'm saying this. Talented receivers where their talent is a little bit better than your talent.
Jettis might be an issue.
DK Metcalf is more talented than all of our corners combined.
DJ Moore.
Talented.
Jaden Reed.
Our talent, I would argue our talent's a little bit better than Jaden Reed.
Jaden Reed's pretty good.
I'm not saying Jaden Reed is bad. I'm just saying I would say our Carlton Davis's talent is better than Jaden Reed's talent right now.
Should be.
Would you feel better about our DBs getting mossed by guys like DK or following them?
It's the same result.
F it.
I know.
It's not the same result because if he gets mossed, that could be a touchdown. If he gets a penalty, we still have another play 2 yard line. And if they run another fade route to Mike Bobo, I'll take my chances.
I just wonder what fans think when they see it. Like, are they just like, "Oh, undisciplined? Why'd he do that?" Or like, would you rather them just like moss your cornerback?
I've seen a lot of Lions fans bitching about Arnold so far, but they're hating on the 1 or 2 plays and not the other 15 plays.
Some of his holds are dumb though. It's like not even like involved in the play, and he's like he trips and he pulls someone down with him. Even though,
well, in fairness, I think there was a call on the Sunday night game or the second game that was not a penalty, and he got called for it.
Yeah, which happens, fine. But I think it's fair to be like, oh, this seems like an issue.
Cut the shit, dude.
Seems like an issue?
Yes, as in cut the shit.
Yeah,
I don't think it's an issue.
I'd like it to be a little more cleaned up.
We can't be nitpicking from the secondary that we're used to having. We're not used to pass interferences because we're usually the other team's wide receivers were so open. Glass half full.
It's just debilitating to get a pass interference call. It's very debilitating.
Alex. It's something you have to overcome. It's not one.
I think we just have to get used to it.
Maybe if we had pass rush, they wouldn't have to cover so long.
Maybe
they can help each other out. And with that, the bye week, kind of early, but kind of needed because Ragnar's hurt, Brian Branch is hurt. I think we win the bye week. Yeah. Okay. And in week 13, we might lose.
He's sick.
Whatever. We might lose the bye week in week 13 because we might be like, wow, we could really use a bye week right now. But I think for this week, with Ragnar out, also underrated shout out Graham Glasgow. You didn't even notice that we had a new center, which is the biggest compliment you can give a guy for stepping into that role.
Played really well.
Yeah, he played awesome.
I'm not saying his name because I'm going to butcher it. So
they said it once on the broadcast. I was like, ooh, I should remember that. But it was like, yeah, I know how to spell it. AWOSIKA. I'm just not sure how to say it. But yeah, he played well, carved some holes. So I think last year it was jarring without Ragnar because Glasgow got thrown into that. But I think this year with the more reps and veteran stuff from him, he looked really good.
Seattle's front was not that good.
They also were out their 2 best, Leonard Williams and Bryant Murphy. I don't
know if this will continue also, but every team we've played, like their best players have gotten hurt or aren't playing. Some of their best players. It's been a weird trend.
Well, this is also a daily reminder that David Montgomery is one of the most underrated running backs in the league, if not the most underrated running back in the league.
But people wanted Jamal Williams.
Alex, our best player was out.
I know. I'm not. And injuries happen in the NFL. It's happened
Rams
like
top
every
we rank them top 7 on our team.
Like every Rams player was out when we played them.
Well, Puka played. Different. Cooper Kupp played the entire game.
Went out in the game at some point.
Stafford was still back there.
Correct.
Stafford was
still good teams, but I'm just saying there's been a lot of injuries.
It's around the league.
Vita Vea.
That's around the league. Vita Vea played. He got injured during the game.
And we lost. It doesn't matter.
Injuries in the game.
Right now.
Yeah.
Travis Kelce missed week 1 of last year. Asterisk. Mike
Chris Jones didn't play.
Asterisk.
I get pissed off every time it comes down to Sunday Night Football.
I like Sunday Night.
And on that note, cheers to episode 184 in the ALDS.
Next time you see us, we'll be up 2-0 in the ALDS.
Oh my God. Stop.
Now we're going to be down 0-2.